Round one. Fight! Wednesday, October 12th, guys, as the man said, it can't rain all the time. We are here tonight. It is Wednesday, October 12th, and I'm so excited to be here with my good friends, Jonathan Getty and Jericho Green. Yeah, it's that time. It's a spooky season. Yes, not unlike Oscar Romero in Batman 1966. I painted white over my beard. It doesn't work, guys. It doesn't work. Let's bring in our good friends because tonight we're looking at Double Impact the Crow. What a great movie. I haven't seen it since high school. How you doing, boys?
Great. I wish my enthusiasm was turned up as high as yours, but yeah, this is great, man. I'm ready to go.
All right. Oh, goodness. So, anything new going on before we dig in to what I think is Brandon Lee's obviously signature and last role? I think he was great in it. He would have been an absolute star. Handsome, charisma. He's got the moves. He's got the body. He's got the hair. Guys, this wig was like $9. It was terrible. But he would have been a star in an alternate universe. This guy's an absolute star. And hadn't seen this since 94, 95, but I absolutely enjoyed it again. It was a great movie. It felt so 90s. It had some of those signature things like Batman 1989, like Ninja Turtles. It had some of that sort of imagery, the smoke, the rain, the alleyways. I love that stuff. What do you guys say?
Yeah, man, it was great. I know, like we said, we're going to not be Debbie Downers, knowing what happened with Brandon Lee, but it does hang over this movie. It does come into your mind every so often, especially it's a couple freeze frames where he's smiling. But it was a great movie, man. And it was weird because I don't know if this is weird in a good way or weird in a bad way. It depends on how you look at it. But it was weird because this wasn't an ass-kicking movie. It was a revenge movie, but he wasn't using his martial arts, which was a trip because he comes from the nether regions of Bruce Lee. And in his other movies, Showdown in Little Tokyo, Rapid Fire, what was that, Laser something? Right? Rapid Fire. And and the other movie, he's straight whooping ass. He's,
Laser Mission, was it?
Yeah, Laser Mission and Showdown in Little Tokyo, he's actually working like, Japantown. So he was deep in those Asian roots and just kicking ass left and right. So there was some ass kicking, but he kind of had to, mute those karate skills and kick ass in a more like Street Fighter way.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what about you, Sean? What is your recollection of any of this, bud?
Well, first of all, I just want to acknowledge the fact that Gabe raised the game today.
Yep.
I tried.
I think we need to realize that there's a certain amount of white powder one can put on one's face that exceeds all expectations. But yeah, the thing for me about this flick that is just, it's amazing is, first of all, for people who, who question sometimes California, the land of my brothers here. Right. You've got born in Oakland, Brandon Lee. Father, born in San Francisco, Bruce Lee, which a lot of people don't know. So there's this lineage of California that we have to pay homage to that runs through this movie and the martial arts community in, California. And I think that Brandon was a movie star. He was looking for this thing that he could do that would meet for a new audience. And I don't think a lot of people, I know a lot of people were considered, but I don't think a lot of people could have brought what he brought to this role. It's just, I mean, he's just great in it. Fantastic.
Yeah, man, there's some parts where just his character struggling with being back and how it ended and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he was very powerful in this movie. His acting chops, he definitely showed them. And there were little snippets of a scene where he gets to scuffling with some gentlemen and he's down, and then he kind of does that thing where you spring up off your back. So yeah, he shows those skills. And yeah, Brandon Lee, man, he had it all. He could have been a model. He could have been, just a martial arts star, action star. He could do it all, man. He was a triple threat as far as in acting. I don't know if he could sing and dance.
I'll say something that I can't prove, but I think he would have been a bigger star than his dad because I think he had more charisma. You know what I mean? I think he had a bit more of that winning smile that he had with the eyes all tight and the smile all huge. His dad had charisma, of course. He's Bruce F. Lee, but I think he had a little more. I think he would have been. He wouldn't have ended up like Seagal and Van Damme, my two favorites. Unfortunately, I think he would have been taken more seriously. I'm totally guessing, making it all up, but man, I think he would have been an absolute star.
Yeah, and because of his range, because they're all everybody you mentioned, and Brandon Lee are all great martial artists. But I think that's where Seagal and Van Damme stop. He keeps going with the acting skills. Yeah. And Van Damme was a good-looking guy, but not as good-looking as Brandon Lee. Right. And I think Brandon Lee was just more marketable, I guess. He just had it.
Yeah.
He had the whole package.
He has it. All right, so let's dive in. Right here. This thing starts off, it's in Detroit, Michigan, and it's Devil's Night, I guess is a thing. Is it a real thing,
it's
Sean?
Real, yeah.
It is. And where the night before Halloween, vandals go crazy, burning stuff, breaking, looting. I don't know if they rob people, rough people up, but it's a crazy thing. And on Devil's Night, some people are attacking Brandon Lee and his fiance in their loft apartment.
Yeah, this is the open shot right here.
Yeah, they end up raping her and killing her. She dies at the hospital, and Brandon Lee is shot and thrown out the window and dies. So it opens up terrible. The two lovebirds getting married very soon, by the way. I think the next day they were set to get married. And,
they get married on Halloween because one of the cops is like, he goes, "Who the fuck gets married on Halloween?" Yeah, he found their wedding invitation on the ground. That's how he got their name and stuff. And you hit the ground running. There's not a lot of setup. They kind of do it throughout the movie, showing you what happened before. But there's no it doesn't open with them in the kitchen cooking stuff and then the bad guys. It's just, they're dead. Ernie Hudson, let's go.
Right. Yeah, the Zedmore, right? Zedmore's here from Ghostbusters. And he's great in this.
He's got the great delivery too. He has a James Earl Jones talks about this a lot, but he has a particular timbre in his voice. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I think I do. Where he says, when he says the line, "Nobody." Do you know what I'm saying? When he says, it's married on Halloween, this guy in this opposite kind of voice, and then he goes, "Nobody." And when you find out later, which we'll get to, that he stayed in the hospital and all that stuff, you get the character of the man. And I love what he brings to this. He's got range, man.
Yeah, Ernie Hudson's the man. And the guy who plays the henchman's right-hand man, I guess they got all the tall black actors together in this movie.
Oh my God, Candyman, right?
The Candyman is
that Tony Todd. Come on,
a legend.
And he has that tiny bit of bleached hair right on his hairline. It's a little blonde patch. It's like the size of a postage stamp.
So just give me just a little bit. In this movie,
Jericho's winning, man. You competing with me? I go Ernie Hudson, and then I have to go cut immediately to Tony Todd, going boom.
It's
all right, fine, you win.
On paper, and it also came through in the movie, but if you saw this lineup on paper, you're like, oh shit, this is great.
Yeah. It was and this was a big movie. This wasn't like Hollywood made it and just kind of threw it out there, see if it makes money. This was supposed to be something big. You know, there was money behind this, obviously. And it was, I don't know. It's, and James W. Barr, I believe his name's, or James O. Barr. I forget. He has a middle
James
name.
O. Barr.
James O. Barr. Comic book artist, illustrator, and all that. And it was a comic book series first, The Crow. And it was in the late 80s, early 90s. And I was reading about it online, and poor guy. Unfortunately, I guess when he was 18, 19, his girlfriend died in a car wreck. And he said writing this story was like some of that catharsis of dealing with that loss and this concept of this crow, this magical crow that's going to end up bringing, what do we got here? Bringing Brandon Lee back to life. There it is.
Yeah, this is a special edition of this book. It came out, well, there's social media handles on the back of it, but they released this not long ago. And let me see if I can grab this here real quick. I'm moving at the speed of stop here. Yep, here you go. Here's the dedication.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Oh, so that was at the end. That's the girl's name at the end of the movie, because it says dedicated to Brandon Lee, and I can't remember the girl's, but it's a female name.
Eliza.
Eliza, yeah. So I was wondering, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and the crow, is badass too. Don't think this crow is just here to fly around and squawk. No. This crow is his eyes, and then that feels like a male crow. I'm gonna say he.
It's a they. It's a they them, dude. Come on.
The him, sir, him, her, zim, zer, zim.
Crow self.
He gets involved. He gets in there. He gets his claws dirty. We'll say that. But the crow is not just for looks. He gets in there and mixes it up and helps Brandon out.
So you're the least nerdy of us. I dare say, Jericho. I could be wrong. You know, we could pan over and we see all your Funko Pops, and then everything changes.
My guess you were wrong, huh?
Yeah. So the thing I would ask you is, as someone who's an action fan, and you might have been into a whole bunch of different kinds of movies because you're clearly a cinephile, what did you make of that, the supernatural aspect of this being introduced with the crow? And they talk about, it's been said that the crow, like, what did you think when you first saw it?
It was cool. I liked it. I was 13 and a half when this came out. So when I first saw it, that just totally went over my head. But after seeing it now, and I've seen it a few times as an adult, it was cool because you have to explain how he comes back somehow. And the crow, it's cool. I mean, it's all black. It's, it's the black sheep of the bird family, to keep it, with animal references. But, the crow, it's badass. It's death. It means, it's ominous. Something's coming. Crows don't show up at birthday parties. So if you see a crow, it's some bad shit. And there's that scene, and it's toward the end of the movie where he opens the doors and you see like the rain behind him. And there's a couple shots where the crow is on his shoulder. Man, that shit worked. Yeah. And it's got to be definitely a supernatural element to it. And it doesn't just stop with him coming back. It's kind of a thread throughout the movie. But it worked, man. This whole thing worked.
Yeah. And we got the little girl here. What is her name again? And she kind of stays with Brandon Lee and his girlfriend. Her mother is a streetwalker, heroin addict or whatever. She is. And so this little girl's like a tough little tomboy. Like you even see her hair is shaved, like she's there on top. She rides a skateboard. She talks tough, and she doesn't seem to be afraid of much. And she really liked Brandon Lee and his girlfriend a lot. They kind of looked after her a little bit when they could, I guess, is what they imply in the story here. Yeah, so she sees the death of these two people she really cared about. And it's funny. She's got that street hardness to her where she's not freaking out and sobbing. She's just like, since her mom's, a prostitute, no dad in the picture, it's just like, just another disappointment in this girl's life. She doesn't shrug it off, but you see that she's seen a lot of hardness in her life. There's a super chat. Let me take a look here. Scotty's for $1.99. Hey, you Motor City mother Fs, fired up. There you go. Thank you very much. That's the bad guy. Fired up. Yeah, that's some of the henchmen in this movie. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's their chant. But you can tell, like, this little girl, it's just like, just another weight, that's thrown on her cart, so to speak, that, I'm sure will have adverse effects later. But it's like, man, poor kid. And calling her mom a prostitute, that's a very nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Hey, me.
She's a lot of things.
Hey, look at me right now. I keep it classy, Jericho.
Obviously. And I'll never doubt that again.
Right. So we get off to a pretty bad start for these main characters. The main characters are now dead. The little girl is lost to these people she cares about. And let's see what, to these vandals that are out, and they're criminals. These aren't just like teenagers breaking windows. These are bad guys, guns, knives, rapists. These are awful dudes, Yeah.
Yeah, he's even called the killer of killers later in the movie. So yeah, the guys are going after bad dudes.
And there's a beautiful moment there. And again, guys, it's I think we've lost this with a lot of modern superhero movies now. I should say the later end of the MCU, where you've got the older, like everybody's the same age. Everybody's like late 20s, early 30s in these movies at a certain point. You don't have a Robert Downey Jr. Do you know what I mean? And even when you put Sam Jackson in the later movies, he's off to the side. And what I liked about this flick is Ernie Hudson, and now granted, he's probably younger than me in this for all I know, so there you go. But it's like when I'm watching this, to me, I still have those memories when I was a kid, but Ernie walks up to her and he's like, your sister? And she's like, she's not my sister. And she goes, you're lying to her about Eric, and you're lying to me about her. And then he just gives her this hug, and you realize, because that's an important moment, he's moving in, he's just an absolute decent guy. He's going to move into this role for her that they once filled as best as he can. He's not young. He's just one guy, but that's the beautiful start of their relationship, is this murder, this crime scene. It's amazing.
And this girl, her she's painfully 90s. Her outfit, everything. Like they took everything from grunge and then cooked it down and just made this thick sauce of 90s and just submerged this girl. The necklace, the shoes, the leggings, and the jacket with the sweater. I mean, this girl is 90s top to bottom.
Right. Yeah, and she's got the Doc Martens and everything, and good. What is her name? It's Sarah. Sarah. That's her name, right? This character.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a tough cookie.
Right.
She sees some pretty horrible shit.
Sarah, the not so bad street urchin. It's not her fault.
Not at all. She's like 13 years old or something. I think she's the same age as me when this came out. So yeah, she's just a kid trying to make it.
Then our feisty little crow friend is watching everything that's happened here. She goes to the grave to visit her not surrogate parents, but these are people that looked out for, that cared for her. And there he is, Eric Draven, buried, dead and buried.
What a cool name too.
Right.
I was waiting for someone to say that. When you're coming up with character names, like this is just, yes, Eric D. Raven, it's
what?
It's there.
What?
Yeah. You got it?
Mind blown.
There you have it.
Yeah.
And Eric then you have, but at the same time though, this is the great thing, right? When I'm working on characters' names, or when friends and I are like trying to solve a problem for someone else, like it's like they're like, I'm trying to come up with character names. The pun is one thing, right? Not the pun, but the meaning of Eric de Raven is there, but it's like Dracula is the way I would put it, or Vlad. Do you know what I mean? It's like he is like the dark Avenger in the realer, even more intense sense than Batman. I freaking love it, man. It's great.
And if you took, if this was like a straight action movie, like a Seagal action movie, like a Hard to Kill, Mike, just turn his first name to Mike Draven.
Got it.
You're great.
Right, absolutely. Let's see. 40% Zed. Gabe, do you like Kiss? I dislike Kiss. I don't hate them. I don't like them. That is. I really can't stand them. I did a comic book for Gene Simmons' House of Horrors in 2004. Mike Barron illustrated it. I penciled and inked it and colored it. No, Nick Runge inked it. My buddy Nick Runge, and I penciled it and colored it. I did that, and it irritated me because part of the deal that Gene Simmons had with IDW, unbeknownst to us illustrators, is that he got all of our original art. So my pencils and inks, my 10 pages are at Gene Simmons' mansion in the Hollywood Hills. And my friend, who will remain nameless, who may or may not have done a painted cover or two for this series, hated Gene Simmons unreasonably. So IDW emailed him and called him and said, hey, Mr. Simmons wants the covers. He went outside to the dumpster behind his apartment and beat these paintings over like a corner and ripped them and destroyed them and threw them away. And then just told them, I don't have them anymore. They got destroyed. But he refused to give Gene Simmons his fine art. So
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never liked Kiss. I just think they weren't talented enough for the fame that they got. Because I mean, the lead singer AJ, or I don't even know the lead singer
AJ Freely or Freely or whatever that is.
He's not even a great singer.
No.
And like Gene Simmons, what the hell did he do? Play the bass or something? I don't got no respect for Kiss. People like them, whatever, but I cannot stand Kiss.
I don't like them. They're not great. They are not great. So yeah.
Gene Simmons is a fucking weirdo.
It sounds like he's like a money at all costs. I got one more comic story related to Gene Simmons. IDW threw a party, I think, at a hotel right by the San Diego Comic-Con. This is like 2006, 7, something like that. And I was invited, and his son, who's like now close to 40 years old, but at the time he was in his 20s, had his own comic that IDW was going to publish, and they had previews of it at the party. And then online, I think it was one of those gossipy comic websites I won't name, showed all kinds of stuff that was in the comic was stolen from all kinds of mangas, allegedly. All kinds of panels and poses and character designs. So I think that book never got published or whatever. So that was a very cringy moment to see that.
Was he a really good artist, or you just at that point because of who his dad was?
I think he was a kid. I think he was 19, 20, 21 and like didn't know better. Like, don't do stuff like that, kid. Like, don't do that. So Jericho, were you just jealous of Gene's tongue?
No, that wasn't it. Thanks for asking.
I like that. 40% Zed goes, guys, I was making CG lore reference. This is a true story. So John Malin, one of the first guy over the wall when it came to Comicsgate and professionals working in this, and Gabe's done some work for him. I've done some work for him. Terrific guy. He went to a tattoo parlor to get a tattoo of the crow on his back. And when he couldn't see it when it was being done, and when it was done, it looked nothing like the crow, and everybody thought it was Gene Simmons. It's and he still has it, I think. And so people have been trying to say with his campaign, like, we need a stretch goal that if we get there, we get to see the tattoo. It's legend, man. It's legend. What a nightmare. God bless him, John. God bless him.
That sucks.
That sucks.
Apropos to nothing, back to Stone Cold. He's gonna blow your ass.
I'm gonna blow your ass.
Right.
Cold, that's how he says it.
I think it'll blow your ass.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
I blow your ass. Yes.
Hey, that link I sent you guys for that worst Steven Seagal movie where he's sitting in the chair fighting.
Oh man.
Glorious.
Did you watch that?
Yes.
We have to review that. It's or the one where he's like Blade the Vampire Hunter. I watched the reviews of like 5 of his movies on the channel. What? Nothing makes sense. Anyway, back to the show. But
just one last thing on that. If you got to sit down, stop. That's it. That's all I want to say.
It's not important. Says I think I have the same tattoo. Referencing Malin.
See,
Tap on Ron got what I was going to say. Hail panel chat. I did not know Rob Zombie was hosting Gabe Show Night. That's the thing. When you have a beard and you paint it white, it gives you the Rob Zombie look. So.
Yeah,
who I did like White Zombie a little bit in high school. Their big hit they had in 93. Thunder
Dracula.
Kiss. No, Thunder Kiss 60. I don't know the year. 66, 65, 62. It was Thunder Kiss something. And that was a huge hit. And I liked that, but I was not a big fan of Rob Zombie. Didn't dislike him, just wasn't a huge fan. So, Gabe, you sacrificed face for the crow just as Sergio Romero did for the judge. No, Sergio Romero had a mustache, dude.
You sure did.
Yeah, let's see.
Prominent.
And
wasn't it Cesar Romero?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Cesar Romero. And let's see.
And a quick thing about the shot that we had with the crow in it is that there were a lot of blue screen and what's the word I'm looking for? Composited shots that gave this a comic feel. Love it, man.
Yeah.
Hail to the late Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
What a king.
Right. No, go ahead. Expand on the comic shop. Go ahead.
But no, I mean, it's when the Raven flies up to, I think it lands on does it land on the church? I think it lands on the steeple, or does it land on a headstone? I can't remember.
Headstone, he starts pecking at it.
Yeah, the headstone. Mm-hmm. And it zooms out and it says, 1 year later or whatever. It's this movie has this great surreal feel to it. It's like you're in a dream or a nightmare. It's great. Mm-hmm. And I love that shot. I love the artistry.
Yeah, some of them, not saying that the director stole anything, but there are some Tim Burton-y vibes going on there. That scene where he's up on the roof playing the guitar and like the sky is orange.
Yeah.
There's just that the way they play with the light is crazy. And again, like we said before, it hits the ground running. Like you see them dead, you meet the bad guys, and then you meet, Eric D. Raven.
Eric D. Raven.
He's never gonna forget that now. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Usual suspects.
Hunch the Dirty Roofer for $2. Gabe, how does Little Mark soda taste? So, Jericho, what you don't know, I briefly told you about this. There's a guy who works for Marvel Comics, and we all think he traces 3D models, and he's a crazy SJW leftist weirdo, and he attacks our independent comics, calls us all racist, white supremacists, whatever. And he argued with Ethan on the internet last Monday. Remember? I told you about this. They went crazy, and he literally threatened to beat me up and Ethan and all this. And but behind him, while he was arguing the whole time, he had that dorky fat nerd desk with 800 cans of Coke Zero. So I've just been roasting him about Coke Zero. So I was at the local tiendita, the Mexican grocery store by my house, and I found this. It's Little Marky Zero. And cuando necesitas ser rudo. That means when you gotta be tough. When you gotta be tough, get yourself a Little Marky Zero. How does it taste, Hunch? It's not good. It's not good.
Does not taste good.
No, it does not. So
tastes like tears and small weenie.
But yeah, I miss original.
Whatever that tastes like.
But
definitely prefer the original.
Right. That's a joke from The Office. I'm not a joke thief. I always credit jokes. Yeah. Cuando necesitas ser rudo. So there you go. There you go. That segment is brought to you by Little Marky Zero. Available everywhere. Everywhere. Like alleys, park benches, anywhere. The trash at the zoo, the trash can.
Bum's bladder. It's available anywhere.
You'll find it. You'll find it anywhere. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Eric D. Raven. So we have Ernie Hudson. He stops to get a hot dogs.
Hey.
From a guy that's a real Detroiter, you know? And I love there's a little character in this because the guy just buries this thing in ketchup. It looks so disgusting.
Like, is there a hot dog under there?
Right.
Then he hits it with the mustard. He
Right.
hits it with the ketchup when they get to this scene. He hits it with a little mustard. Then Ernie Hudson takes over and hits it with more mustard. I'm like,
onions.
too many liquids on that damn hot dog, man. I can't take it.
Right.
That's too much, man.
Yeah, I like the little character moment here. You could tell he's this blue collar guy. He's been at this for a while. And he's like, come on, onions. And the guy gives him onions. He's like, come on, that's barely anything. You know, it's
don't skimp on the onions.
Right.
Yeah, so don't skimp on the onion. Put an onion on, take a whole onion and put it on my hot dog.
Right.
Damn.
Onion hero.
I do not like, though, how his back is to the street. I could not eat at that hot dog stand. The street, because they're sitting, basically, it's set up on the sidewalk, and behind you is the street. I could not do
Detroit traffic.
Nah, man. No, especially you're a cop in Detroit. That's dangerous.
How do we always get to food, guys?
Yeah,
we always get there right away. I'm always hungry when we do this.
It doesn't matter how we get there, as long as we get there. And I made sure I ate this time. I made sure I ate before the live this time. I'm not saying I'll do
I had
it every time.
a scoop of peanut butter like 2 hours ago. I'm actually very
that
hungry.
shit's gone, Gabe. Peanut butter gone.
Well, anyway, he's cop sitting here minding his own business. I think the little girl shows up and he asks her if she wants some. Is that this one or that when they meet here again?
No, she comes up right here. She
and he asks her if she wants onions, and she's like, "No, onions make you fart big time." He's like, who wrote this? It's hilarious, but it's stupid.
I know they make you fart big time. I didn't know onions. I heard beans, but I never knew onions were fart makers. But I mean, and I think this is a year later, so this shows that they've built, a little bit. They built a relationship. Like this is their usual hangout spot. She's used to seeing him, and he has, like you said, Sean, he has moved into that role for her. But yeah, this is he's a guy. He's just a guy getting a dog.
Hey, and he's telling him you gotta put the mustard under the dog.
Hey, and you want that hot dog? You want that hot dog over there, or you want this hot dog right here?
Oh.
I want to do an Indiegogo to get Jericho. Like I want it to hit 1 million to get Jericho to do all the voices for a Seagal movie. They can buy the audio track, sync it up, and play it. I swear to you, man, we would make some serious money.
Get you in the studio for about 3 weeks. You just dub the whole thing.
That's it. I'll bring a sleeping bag. I'm not going anywhere till it's done.
We're not. Yeah, I mean, I look at this scene, and this is the thing about it too. Think about her mom and the world she's in. Think about, these people, these villains, they hate life, basically. Like, you've got a future newlywed couple. They're trying to make things better, but she doesn't really there's no opposing power of good. And even this guy's outmatched with the psychopaths we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. But you have to think about it. She's living, and her mother is raising her in a world of crime. And she's got this one light in this, which, look at the shot. It pretty much sums it up. Like, it's this dark city. And then there's this one place of light where he's eating, and she's going up to it. It's almost like, having dinner with dad compared to what she's coming from. It's like, it's brutal.
And just to expand on that real quick, you said some things I was actually thinking about. You notice after this happened, she didn't run home and fall in her mom's arms and cry that her two best friends in the world were viciously murdered. She just kind of rode her skateboard down the street. And speaking of light, and you look at the couple and you'll see the flashbacks of how they were almost a light in that neighborhood, especially Shelly. Yeah. She was so nice and laughing, and they took care of her. And you're like, why are you people in Detroit, like in a not a ghetto, but just the bad part of town, red light district, and streetwalkers and thugs out there? I mean, why are you good people here? And then you see that you can't give bad people good things because
Dollar was a little busy that night.
Hey, I got it. You see all these cocks I got over here? Get out of here! You bother me, kid.
I'm double booked. I got to get to work.
I got dicks over here. I got balls over there. Remember when he went into the bar? That's what he said when he went in the bar in Alfred Justice. Hey, who's the boxer? You got some gloves over here, some memorabilia over there. Darla, that was Darla's creative muse, was Out for Justice.
Right. So we cut to down the street, and there's some of these Devil's Night hoodlums. It's Devil's Night again. Remember, it's a year later. Brandon Lee, his fiance, they were going to get married on Halloween, the day after Devil's Night. And these guys are up to some mayhem, but it isn't like I said earlier, it's not teenager mayhem. What these guys do on Devil's Night is they do like corrupt mafia stuff, like, hey, we want to buy this building, so we'll burn it down and buy the property, or we want, what I mean? It's stuff like that, like corrupt strong arming, and they hide in Devil's Night is the idea that I'm getting. They hide behind all the other crazy vandalism that's going on. That's where they hide their crimes. They kind of sneak them into the crowd there, that herd mentality. So we get introduced to some of these guys, and
there's a character trait here, because in this scene it starts tight on his face, and then he whistles, and he goes, let's go, like that, and then it zooms out, and you see he's in a room with all his henchmen. But that whistling thing is kind of his calling card. When he says, they don't tell him to do something, but he always whistles before he does it. And one of his friends mentions that toward the end of the movie.
All right. Yeah. So, okay. So now we go to the graveyard. And I love the Gothic looks here, because I love everything Mike Mignola and Jim Lee's, all the Batman artists and Spawn and all that. There's something so obviously epic about the Gothic and the cemetery and the rain and the imagery there. It's so powerful, so evocative, so much lore and Western culture and all that. And you get the creepy Raven, who we'll see in 2010. Think about it. Game of Thrones. The Raven gives that far sight to some of the people in the Game of Thrones, like the Raven can give Eric Draven his same sight where he can see through the Raven's eyes. I think that's very interesting. I wonder who thought of that first. Not that it matters, but it was just a curiosity. And then out of the ground, Brandon Lee in the rain, busting through. It felt very Sam Raimi to me, the way that dirt was pulsing, like an Evil Dead moment or something like that. Loved it. So his resurrection, and he is obviously freaked the hell out that he was dead and woke up a year later in a grave. But he's looking pretty good for a dead guy.
Hey, so, he looks great.
Hey, not bad. Not bad for 1 year.
Not bad for being in the dirt for a whole year. But
I mean, this dude, man. Go ahead. Go.
But he's screaming here. He screams and he falls over and he's like writhing in pain in like the fetal position. So I was wondering, like, is it the pain of being coming back to life? Is it the pain that he felt when he died and now he's able to like yell it out? Or I'm not sure, but he gives a real guttural, primal scream.
Well, I love that. Like you're right.
A yell.
In my own made up imagination, it's like you go to sleep and you wake up and it's been 6, 7, 8 hours, but seems like 2 seconds. Well, before this guy went to sleep for a year, he was watching his fiance get assaulted, if I'm putting it in PG-13 terms, and he was shot and thrown out a window. Yep. So he's shot, thrown out a window, hits the ground and dies, and then wakes up. I think anybody would be screaming when they woke. He's still screaming from his fall when he wakes up. He comes out of the ground like, ah!
Yeah, and you think about it too. You know, we're used to seeing all of these movies, right, where you see, you know, like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where you see someone go from living to dead quickly. This movie kind of, you're right, Jericho, it kind of introduced you to a character who clearly had been dead and in a tomb and then is suddenly brought back to life. And yeah, the flood of memories, the flood of pain, and then your body basically reanimating itself and, you know, being alive again. That is something that when he came out of the ground, which I think he did take after take in the freezing rain, apparently, because he wanted to get it right. He wanted to like really make sure they got it good. It's excellent. It's an immortal scene in a movie. It's great.
Yeah, they filmed it on a lot in North Carolina. They had the rain machines and stuff like that, and they filmed it, I think, during winter time. So it was really cold. So all this shaking and stuff, that's real. You can see there's a lot of scenes you can see their breath. You know, and this is way before CGI. That's also evident, but you know, time goes by. But yeah, this is a real, you know, and when he's coming out of the ground, you can hear the wood of his coffin, you know, like, you know, being bent and then breaking. And, you know, he comes out of the ground and it's, you know, it's on. He, you know, kind of reorients himself a little bit. And then I got this list of people that need to be killed. So,
all right.
Maybe
kill to it.
Yeah, a revenge film is a certain type of film, you know what I mean? And they can be pretty satisfying, you know what I mean? And it's good that the writers understood the stakes is to take it all the way at the beginning. That this man's life, literally his own life, but then, of course, his beautiful fiance, everything's taken from him. And these bastards are just out doing whatever they want, probably killing other people in the meantime, probably killed many before, burning down the city. Why? Yeah, like that was not the first woman they assaulted and man they shot, of course. So, it's satisfying when the bad guys are pure evil like this to watch them get revenge. It is satisfying. It feels like righteous indignation. Come on, Gabe. Let's go.
She looks weird now, too. Like she did a bunch of plastic surgery to her face. Shelley, or the actress who played her, which was disappointing because she was a beautiful woman to begin with. But yeah, the crow leads him to everything. The crow gets him some, right here, he's getting him some clothes and some shoes. And, you know, he's telling him everything he needs and he leads him back. And one thing that they did differently in this film, instead of showing you in the beginning everything that happened, you get little snippets of it throughout the movie. So throughout the movie, they're reminding you, oh, you thought he was bad? Look what he did, and look what he did, and look what he did. So it doesn't like give it all to you in the beginning, and then it's just revenge from there. They're kind of, you know, Hansel and Greteling, if that's a term, all throughout the movie, just like, you know, this guy's a piece of shit. Oh, he did this and he did that. And so it's just fueling his revenge throughout the movie. And when he comes out of the ground, he's already fully pissed. He needs no further motivation. He's ready to go.
So so the crow's his little sidekick. It flies around, and basically, if the crow is alive and doing fine, then he can't die. Basically, is what I get from this. He can be shot, he can be stabbed, but the crow somehow it's what resurrected him, and it gives him his powers are like just like speed and agility, right? And he's strong, right? Basically, he can't fly, no laser eyes, nothing like that. But
no laser eyes.
So these shitbirds are driving around town laughing, you know, just on their merry way, burning down half of Detroit.
Yeah.
And and then we cut back to Onions and Ernie Hudson, and we get a little more of the bonding here. Look at the way that kid is eating that hot dog. Have you ever seen someone eat a taco like from the bottom or the side? Yeah, like someone's eating something and they're just eating it the wrong way.
Like she needs to be on a watch list. People that do shit like that. You gotta
eat a hot dog like this, yo.
Hey, head on, you fucking kid.
She'd never seen a hot dog before. This poor kid.
You gotta stare down the barrel of that damn thing, bro.
It looks like someone from another country experiencing it. Like, what is this thing?
You take her to a Mexican restaurant, you get tacos, she gets out a spoon and just like starts eating the middle or something like that.
Slap that kid. Wouldn't that be funny if you just slapped her from the stool?
Yeah. I don't believe this girl's ever seen a hot dog before this day.
Help her out. She's dealing with some real trauma, Gabe. Cut her some slack.
Okay.
She didn't have time. Not like she had a wholesome household to live in and eat hot dogs. So she's learning on the fly.
Right.
Amen.
Poor kid. Her mom is such a turd too.
So so we have another moment here, and what these shitbirds is what I'm going to call them. What the shitbirds did is they sent a little explosive inside of a building.
Hey,
surprise, surprise.
What's the matter with you? Yeah, when he was lighting up his cigar, that's what he was telling him. Let's go. And on the way out, he hits a few buttons on the briefcase with the explosive. How come all explosives come in briefcases?
Right.
Nobody has them in duffel bags.
Right.
All the way up until the 2000s, all bombs came in briefcases.
Right. What do you think before the briefcase was really mainstream invented? What do you think the explosives came in before?
Well, they were
usually like a burlap sack or something.
They were always like it was a bunch of sticks of dynamite bundled together.
Right.
That's all they had, and it was attached to that Wile E. Coyote thing where they push it down and
boom,
that was it. And then they grabbed.
Actually, it was a flour tortilla. No.
So then, Samsonite got in the game and started pushing briefcases on them.
Right. So these jerks, the shitbirds, they're driving away, laughing at their handiwork. I got wig hair going in my mouth. And we cut back to the warm moment. Ernie's like, not her father. He didn't take her in or anything, but she's hanging around him instead of poor Eric, who's now dead, and the fiance. And kaboom. Oh no, back. Where's the kaboom? We don't get that yet. I was narrating that out of order, the scene. Sorry. Yeah. And then we have more of the resurrection. And we got Brandon Lee here. Yeah.
Look at that face.
Yeah. It's going to be an absolute star, this guy would have been.
Telling you, leading man the whole nine.
Right. And then, he's having flashbacks. That's right. When he's resurrected, we get some more exposition of what happened that fateful night a year ago when the S-birds, when they visited his loft with him and his beautiful fiance, how they beat them and assaulted him. And then that's their view or his view looking up. So they're on like the 20th floor. He's about at the 14th right now looking up, What do you think's going through his mind? He's flying through the air, 9.1 seconds, feet per second, right? Or is it meters? That's the speed of falling or whatever. What is he thinking right here? He's,
Yeah.
Take out my souffle.
Hey.
Let me and this is the thing I didn't get till about 2 years ago. And this blew my mind that I didn't put this together, but I mean I saw this movie when I was a kid, and there's a way movies get frozen right in your head. And that his memories are triggered by, or he can see what other people saw when he touches them. Right. So the flashbacks happen. I didn't catch this because he picks up the cat. And so he's seeing the whole thing through the cat's eyes. And I didn't put that together. So because it cuts that shot of the cat going, and then it shows him coming in the door and her over on the floor. And so that's why he drops the cat immediately. I didn't know that. I was like, couldn't believe I didn't put that together till 2 years ago.
Oh,
actually, the audio commentary.
And all the memories are in this red light, whether it's a positive memory or a bad one. They're all in this red light that you see. They really play. And this, like you said at the top, Gabe, this movie is so 90s. This is like,
and in the best way possible. In the best way possible.
I mean that in the best way. But this movie is 90s from top to bottom. We'll get into the scenes at the club and stuff, and the bands. Everything is 90s in this movie, just turned up to the max, bro.
Look at the blood pattern on his face. It's the Crow makeup. You got the stripe coming off the top of the eye. You got the corners of the lips going up, but that's his blood from getting beat up, shot, and thrown out the window. None the Miser says something very grim. He says he believes in the original story. Eric is shot and paralyzed and has to watch Shelley get assaulted and killed. Brutal. Ooh,
Could
boy.
Be. Ooh, boy. Could be. That is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But these guys are shit. These shit birds, they earn every bit of their title, man. They're horrible guys.
Yeah, they do.
And he sees it individually, what they each did individually to her and to him. So, they almost get their own personalized revenge. And after he drops the cat, because I think the cat scratched him or something. Right. And then he runs and jumps out that window, but keeps holding on and then comes back in. Right. And his hands are cut, and then he sees that the cuts heal themselves, and he's like, "Oh shit! All right, I got something here." Okay, And this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life before.
Right.
Or sorry, at the time. This is where they cut to them at the bar and they're swallowing bullets, 9mm bullets, put in their mouth, and then they take the shot and swallow the bullet. And then one of the guys named Skank, he's obviously the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to this group. He's the bottom shit bird. And he goes to take his shot because they're going to order. He goes first. He's the leader. Then I think Fun Boy goes. And then 1010, the black guy with the dreads and the knives, Skank was about to go before him. And he stops Skank. He pushes his hand down. He spills his drink. And then he puts the bullet in his mouth, drinks it, and he tells Skank, "Pussies go last, man." And then they get all pissed off.
All right.
And then he pulls a gun on 1010, and then 1010, he's known for his knife, so he pulls a knife. He's like, "That thing's not even loaded, man." He puts a knife to his neck. And then this guy, what was his name?
I don't remember
T-Bird.
them.
Was it T-Bird?
T-Bird.
Oh, he is
Yep.
T-Bird. That's right.
So
T-Bird is
T-Bird who
the
drives
leader
the
of the
T-Bird.
shitbirds.
And
T-Bird
he
and the
pulls-
shitbirds. World's worst rockabilly band. T-Bird and the shitbirds.
That's why I
Kiss
never heard of
cover
it. They never
band.
made it. But he pulls his gun, and he's like, "Which one of you Motor City motherfuckers?" And then they all put their guns away, and that's the first time you see them go, "Fire it up, fire it up, fire it up." So it's kind of their chant. But when I saw it, I was like, "Oh man, when I get 21, I'm gonna start swallowing 9mm bullets with whiskey as soon as I can."
So, if you're at home, never, ever, 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 ever swallow a bullet. Ever.
Don't.
Jericho. Now, having said that, never do it. Anyone who ever watches this video, never. And I just mean never. Jericho, have you ever done that? Have you ever done something crazy like that? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't.
I
do
mean,
it. Not that I think it would go off inside you, but there's no way those chemicals of the gunpowder are safe. There's no way. It would
your
go through
stomach.
you. I think the metal would go.
No, I think
you'd get the bullet back. I think. I'm not a
You
doctor.
might see it again, depending on how long it sits in there. I think your stomach acid's strong enough to erode the brass, but yeah, it's probably just going to make its way through, and you'll hear it hit the toilet the next day.
I'm certain it would poison you, though. All that gunpowder and all that.
I don't know if it would be in there that long because I don't think it's going to, like erode through it and the gunpowder gets loose. If that gunpowder somehow does get loose in your stomach, yeah, it's going to be an issue. But I don't think it'll be in there long enough.
Weirdest thing I've ever eaten. Weirdest thing
I've ever eaten.
Grossest, weirdest.
Probably a pig's ear.
Okay, I've had that. Shanth?
I'd have to think on that. That'd be a pretty insane catalog.
Oh.
Yeah, I've
been to India, man.
How would that not be considered lead poisoning? There you go.
Oh.
I had camel before.
All right.
Oh man, how was that?
Kind of greasy or oily, I guess.
You know, because if you say something like gator or snake or whatever, most people have had that. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people have been out somewhere where you've had that served up to you, man. It's like, I don't know.
Oh.
It's tough to think of what was weird.
You ever eaten something gross? Like this happened to me. I went to Disney World last year, driving back, stopped at Buc-ee's truck stops in Texas. Love them. Got some of their homemade fudge. Fudge doesn't go bad. It's all sugar, right? Cocoa and sugar. They don't go bad.
Sure.
You find honey in an Egyptian tomb, 3,000 years old. Sugar doesn't go bad.
Yeah, same thing. Buc-ee's, 3,000-year-old honey. Same.
Right. Exact same thing. Okay. So that's November. 2 months later, this fudge isn't sitting on my kitchen table. And I grab a piece, and I bite it, and it has black dots on it. And I'm like, I wonder what those are. Because it was white fudge and green fudge and red fudge and chocolate fudge. And one of the white ones, I'm like, I wonder what the hell these dots are. I turn this thing over, and there are just maggots everywhere on the other side.
Yummy. That's protein, man. Oh,
So-
I had something close to that. I remember when McDonald's started the any size drink for $1. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get a iced tea, a sweet tea, and a wedge of lemon. That was my thing.
Ooh.
And so I got it, drank like 3/4 of it, left it in the cup holder in my car. And being a guy, I have a certain level of disgusting in me. So I get in my car and I was like, oh man, there's some tea left. Let me drink that. So I drink it, and then something goes in my mouth. And so you like that with your teeth. I thought it was a little like one of those little lemon pods, with the little juice in it. But I was like, after a couple seconds, I was like, I don't know. This thing would have been gone by now. What is this? And so I spit it out onto my finger, and it was a fly. So almost a maggot, a grown maggot.
Good. It was a grown maggot.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I got another horrific one. My wife was eating canned soup once. Really enjoying her like chicken, home style chicken minestrone. I don't know what it was.
Progressive.
She brings it to me, holds her spoon out, and she says, What are these things? They were like little gray segmented things. And I looked really close. Shit you not. I noticed they had 2 red eyes. And they were some bizarre, wormy something. And I'm like, you've eaten more than half of it.
Might as well kill it, girl.
Yeah.
Kill it.
So nothing happened, but I would make Mr. Worm voice to tease my wife. That was the voice of Mr. Worm. Are these good? Did you like them? Do you want some more, Mr. Worm? So there's actually 2 Mr. Worms. There's Mr. Worm and then
yeah. That one we don't need. That one better not have red eyes on it. But I mean, soup. You get that pretty hot before you eat it. So I think whatever those things were, they were gone. They were perished.
That's right.
Sean, do you have anything disgusting before we move on?
No, not really, man. I was trying to think of. I gotta be honest with you. I don't know where the line is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had a few swallows accidentally of Copenhagen or Skull Dip before.
Ew, I've seen it before.
But that's about it.
I've seen that.
Not a good experience, but
horrible.
Last one.
Yeah.
I have expensive maple syrup because I have pancakes once in a while. I keep it. I don't eat carbs, but my wife will make me pancakes every once in a while. Maple syrup, Egyptian tombs. Honey doesn't go bad. Sugar doesn't go bad. I'm pouring my syrup, eating my pancakes. It's delicious. I pour a little more, and it glugged weird, like glug glug. And I'm like, what the F? And I look in the honey. I'm looking down the barrel of this thing, and it looks whitish weird. And I take a clear glass. I have a huge stein that's clear glass, and I pour all the maple syrup out. And a piece of fungus mold, the size and shape of the bottle, slurps out of it, and it's just like floating there on top.
That's no good, man. The question is, did you skim it off the top and finish that syrup?
I threw it all away. I thought, well, the sugar doesn't have water, so the bacteria can't grow. So where did this come from? I'm no detective.
Damn it.
So let me just say this. What the problem with everything we're doing right now is it's making the case for censorship, because I would wager to say that at the very least 2 out of the 3 panelists here, I include myself, saw this scene and said, that looks like a great idea.
Yeah.
I think people have to understand the power of like the young 13, 14-year-old boy to see something insane and go, you know what though? That's pretty cool.
I want to do that shit. You're not a man until you swallowed some bullets.
Zed, it was the real 40% Zed. It was the real, like $30 for the jug. It was the real maple syrup. It was not the other one. Oh no. Last one. When I worked at Home Depot in college, my friend Brian, forgot his last name, real country boy. He would chew dip, and we would work late into the night. We would work till it closed because I was in college during the day, and he would fill that cup with the mucus tobacco juice. Someone came along and got that thing and spilled it all over themselves. So, that's a bad night, guys. That's a bad night.
Yeah, I used to clean movie theaters. That happened to me. Picked up a soda can, flipped over onto my hand, onto my shoe. Changed life.
I've seen a crackhead drink their own vomit for $10.
Nope.
Once I was a crackhead and I drank my. Never mind. Let's.
Hey, I knew you.
I knew you looked familiar. I knew you looked familiar.
I couldn't place it until now.
Yeah. What'd you do with the $10 I gave you?
What'd you end up spending it on?
Oh, my
crack.
This is true by Timmy Mello. Male curiosity spawned the foundation of scientific studies. Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed. Yes. Anyway, never, ever, 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 ever eat a bullet, guys. Never.
Unless it's Devil's Night and you're in a bar with the shitbirds.
Right.
Yeah.
But seriously, never eat a bullet. Back in the loft that no one has cleaned up in a year. I thought these guys were destroying the loft for like insurance or property scams or something with the mafia stuff they do. But no, it's just destroyed. The window's still broken a year later. And he's in there reminiscing, looking at stuff, looking at pictures of his fiance. Very sad, very psychic pain, very emotional. He sees this Harlequin mask. And he's already like a gothy kind of rocker guy. He's in some band. I forgot the name of it, but they're like dark metal kind of band.
Hangman's Joke.
Right.
The album's called Last Laugh.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah, he punches the mirror. You know, he's still angry. He's pissed off that this is all he has of these memories. And he's pretty goth dude. In those flashbacks, you see a lot of crushed velvet in that apartment.
Right.
And how come it's always the main characters, even if there's some shitbag, cop who's on the verge of getting fired and has parking tickets, they always have a 2,000 square foot loft with like brick walls and shit and an elevator. You're like, man, how did you get this? You're a piece of shit. Or you work a regular job, but their apartments are always fat.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I hate the TV show Friends, but someone pointed out to me like that apartment in Manhattan, like the main one that they're always in. I don't know whose apartment, Joey Ross. I don't know whose apartment it is, but the main one where most of the show takes place. Someone pointed out to me, there's no way like young people that were just not, a partner in a law firm. You couldn't afford that in Manhattan. So
it's like $50,000 a month. You guys want to be roommates? Shit's weird.
All right. So he hates what he sees in the mirror and all his memories. That's the inference I get. And he punches his own reflection. And I feel like he doesn't want to see his own face. And that's why he paints his face. I made that up, but it kind of makes sense to me because he doesn't like what he's seeing in the mirror, his own face full of pain. So he takes on this persona because he's also crazy a little bit.
Yeah.
He's also a little bit crazy.
He's a little nutty. We find that out when but see again, right there, the crow on his shoulder. And it's even better when the crow has its wings spread. I mean, that shit looks awesome. But the first person that he goes to visit is a Tintin, and you see him. The crow shows him how to get there, and when he gets there, he just falls off the side of the building. Falls in a pile of trash and just starts laughing. So he's nuts from the beginning.
Did you see the crow like? Are we here?
Oh, yeah, I think we're back.
Jericho, you here?
Yep.
Okay.
Switch places with Sean, but yes.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I'm confused. I'm disoriented. Move things back, Gabe. I'll God. I'm a simple man.
I got the special Blu-ray Criterion collection of this, and it has another version where the crow has dialogue the whole time. But he's like this New Jersey wise guy, and he's like, hey, I know you want to kill these fucking mooks. Let's go find some broads.
Hey, go kill fucking Tintin.
Hey, you've been waiting the whole year. What's another night? Huh? Let's go get some broads.
Let's go get some feather tails.
Let's go get some broads, a little gabagool.
Is $1 million to do the crow's voice in this movie. If you guys want to raise that and get that $1 million to Jericho, we can make that happen.
Hey, you guys get halfway there, I'll do the voice.
That's right, man. You know how much bouillabaisse you can buy?
Right, at least 50 gallons.
At least. If it's not at least 50 gallons of bouillabaisse, don't fucking talk to me.
Okay? Oh, goodness. So we go here. This guy owns a pawn shop, and he takes in the crap from the shitbirds. So he has Brandon Lee's engagement ring. He has all kinds of people's jewelry and rings, and obviously TVs and guitars, everything. He's a total criminal, a thug, a piece of crap. He looks like he looks a little bit like the Mario from the Mario Brothers movie. He has that look to me. But this cocaine fingernail, dude, that is so horrific. That's
big scoops right there, man. That's big scoops of the perico. But
that is like Raisin Bran, 2 scoops in the morning.
He's like that. You'd picture him with a cigar, and every time he talks, smoke just comes out. What do you want for this? He just that voice and everything. This guy plays the shit out of this part. Just a scumbag.
Polito, man.
He knows they got it. Through crimes and robberies and shit. He even tells him, "Hey, you left a little blood on the bag." Like he's a real piece of shit. He plays this part to the T, man. He's really good. And
great comic movies. Rocketeer, he was Bigelow, and in this, he was this crime boss. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It reminds me, I was, my son was in Little League Baseball, this like 10, 15 years ago. And I went to the convenience store right by the park to get some snacks for myself and the kids, I think. And I got in line behind this guy that had this fingernail, no shoes, and he had a shirt that had that patina of he's been living in the shirt for 6 weeks, like the grease patina on the shirt where it's now smooth and shiny. And he had long brown like toenails and greasy hair. It was so this nail has triggered that memory in me. We've lost Jericho because he doesn't like this fingernail. It disgusts him.
He's out of here. He's like,
well, soldier on. He'll come on back. He'll come on back. Oh no, I think he's just turned his camera off for a moment. That's all. Oh, good. Right here, it's heroin nail.
Yeah, it's something, man.
That's to the max. That's much worse.
And I think Jericho said this really well. He said that when you look at the cast for this flick, you were like, unless somebody really, really drops the ball, you're going to get some great performances out of these actors. And John Polito is somebody who has such an extraordinary career with the Coen brothers. He's the character actor you bring in when you need a heavy hitter. And if you bring him in and you don't have a strong cast around him, he overshadows everybody. And that just shows how good the cast was in this, because they were able to hold their own with someone who is, God rest him, a legendary character actor, and everything.
Yeah. Like you could picture him in like a dirty wife beater with an apron on with like stains on his. What do you want? He just totally played that shit. And he was in some ways a bigger piece of shit than the people bringing him the stolen goods. Yep. And he even tells me, you left a little blood on the purse. Like he knows what's up, but he's a scumbag. He just wants money. And
he gets it. Of crime.
Oh, he gets it.
He's fucking oily.
Yeah, I mean, look behind him, the poster behind him on the wall, the 2 words you can read. Elegant. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
And
there's no elegance.
Right. It could not be more diametrically
mislabeled.
Yeah. And this whole city, not just this building, the whole city, or the part that we see, has neither one of those words associated with it.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So there's Tintin, one of the shitbirds. He's in here talking to, what are we going to call this guy? I don't remember his movie name, but I just call him
Gideon.
Gideon. That was okay. Gideon.
Mr. Gideon.
Oh, you know what? I think he was like the landlord in Seinfeld, and Newman has an affair with his wife or something. I'm certain that's who that. Now that Dan Lawless said that, I think that's who that is.
Yeah, he's the landlord, the super, always something like that. This guy found his niche, and he stuck with it.
Sorry, my face is itching, and you can't itch it, when you do this.
Oh man, we're only an hour in. It's gonna get tough, man. If somebody like that, if I was an actor and all I got were the same damn roles for 25, 30, 40 years, as long as the check's clear, who cares?
Right.
Much respect to these guys who get in these roles, and that's how you always see them. So what? Put me in everything playing the same damn character. I do not care.
Right. Just make sure the checks don't bounce. Yeah, make sure the checks aren't made of rubber, and we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he loved it too. He loved his role.
So Eric D. Raven is stalking his first prey here, Tintin. And they meet up in an alley, and they're going to have a fight. And Tintin is a master of knives, apparently. And they wrestle, they tussle, they fight. And then he gets out the knives, and he's throwing them, and no one can dodge his knives. You know what I mean? And then Draven does. He's blocking them. He catches one. It's pretty amazing. He catches one right in his own face. And
he tells him, when he's in front of the fire like that, the last one, he's like, who the fuck are you supposed to be, crackhead? Halloween ain't till mañana. And
that's right.
And then he sees him, and that's when he charges him. And he just, Draven, or D. Raven, he just runs at him and like knocks over the barrel of fire, and he's just on. They're just boom at it, fighting and shit. And then the next one, obviously, he gets the upper hand for a second. And then he tells him, when he has him down on the ground like that, he slammed him up against the wall, and he kind of slid down, and he has his arm up against his throat. And he tells him, he's like, you're going to tell me a story. A year ago, aloft. And he goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, listen, I'm sure you'll remember. Like there's this yelling, and then he pulls it back, like almost showing his psychosis. And then he's like, I'm sure you remember. And he goes, yeah, I remember. Some dude, some bitch. And he slaps him in his face, and he says her name was Shelly. and then he, gets the drop on him, like headbutts him or something, and takes a pipe, hits him a few times, and then that's when he pulls out the knife, and he takes the knives out, and you can see from the crow's view, the literal bird's eye view. Every time it shows the crow's view, it's in black and white, and it's kind of distorted, and you can see that he has this long leather coat on, this full length leather coat, and he takes it off like that, and he's almost he can finally kill again, like he gets to do what he loves, and he takes his knives out, and then that's when he throws them. He's all, I want you to meet some friends of mine. We never miss. Throws one, he blocks it. Throws another one, and then he throws the third one, and that's the one that he catches. And then he throws it at 10-10 on the next one, where he has it stuck in him, and he goes, victims. And he pulls out another one of his knives, and he goes, aren't we all? And then boom, it cuts. And then we'll see what happened to old 10-10 here in a few minutes. But it cuts to the club, and there's again that painfully 90s.
It was so the 1990s alternative rock band. It was like Smashing Pumpkin and Nirvana and Pearl Jam all had like a baby.
Everything.
And, right. And I forget the name of the club. There's a big sign on the top of it in one shot. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, this is like a gothic alternative rock club. And upstairs is this guy whose wig is worse than mine. Okay. It looks weird to me, his hair.
It does.
Some people, they don't look like they have long hair. I've in my life been fooling around or Halloween or whatever, put on different wigs or a theater in high school. And it does. I'm one of those people that don't look like I have long hair. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I need an expensive wig. I don't know what to tell you.
Was the club Top Dollar's place?
I think so.
Because I know Top Dollar was the main character, but I'm thinking it had some name like that. I'm trying to think.
Right. And this beautiful looking Asian broad here, is it Bai Ling?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's Bai Ling. She was in
Wild West. Yeah.
Crank. She was in a bunch of shit. And I was like, Bai Ling? Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, the club was called Trash. There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So these two are weirdos. They're into some culty something. There's a woman behind them, ostensibly dead. Yeah. And they're talking about, they're going to do some weird sacrifices and rituals. And Bai Ling's talking about how much she likes her eye. Thank you, Bai Ling, for covering up her boob there, because I didn't edit this before. And she's like, oh, I love her eyes. And later they're burning in an incense thing, and there's an eye in it.
Yep.
That they're burning. And then they're like wafting it. So
she put something else in there to make it smoke. And then he goes like this and sucks the smoke in and does a line. But before this, she asks him, is she awake? And he turns her over like that and sees that she's dead. And he's like, we broke her. And let's talk about this guy for a second. This guy, found his niche and excelled at it. He's the creepy, weird, bad guy with the voice. He was in Long Came a Spider. He was in, what's that Eddie Murphy movie where he's a cop? Damn it. Not the one he did with Robert De Niro, but it was like 1997 where Eddie Murphy had like the little braids in his hair. And it took place in San Francisco. And this guy was the villain. And he played the same guy. He played the same guy here. He turns it up a little bit, the hair, the goth, but it's still that voice. Man, that dude, he put the 90s in a capsule. This guy's got to go in there. Yep. He has to. He's just that.
I think we broke her.
Yeah, we broke her.
Yeah, he has that rumble. He has that rumble in his voice.
And I think he's from the South somewhere, because he almost has a drawl. Especially when he's doing like that whole speech in front of all the henchmen toward the end. Like he has a Southern drawl. But yeah, man, this dude, creepy bad guy in the 90s, that's your man.
Here's one for you. My favorite quote from this movie when I was a kid, and the one I always used to say, just whatever you pick up, right, was, my daddy used to say, childhood's over the moment you know you're going to die. And that was the quote I took away from this movie, man.
That's some heavy shit for a kid, man.
And that was pretty heavy. So when you look at the shot of the car with all the guys in it, if I had gone down a certain path, I'd have been in that fucking car, man. I'd have been back there with T-Bird and Fun Boy.
Oh, the shitbirds. You'd be the fifth shitbird.
That could have been you.
Skank's dead.
So we cut back to Hot Dog Central, right? No, she's at the bar. for whatever reason, she goes into a bar.
She's
allowed. Yeah, she's allowed into a bar to see her mother, and she's got a root beer on the house.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah,
and,
after watching her mom grind and make out with Fun Boy, who's one of the shitbirds, and like she's bothered by her presence. She's like, "What do you want?" "Oh, I gotta, when are you coming home, Darla?" Doesn't even call her mom.
Yeah.
And she like takes some money off the table and throws her. "Get yourself something to eat, kid. Somebody already gave me dinner, the police." And that got her attention. That was the only thing that got her attention. And then when she walks away, Tintin goes, "Somebody already bought me dinner, the police." And it just adds a little extra thin layer of piece of shit to her mom, because somebody's mocking your kid, and she laughs. She's like, "Ah, stupid kid." Like the girl is a nuisance to her. She's like, "What do you want?" Like, "I'm trying to get herpes here. What do you want?" It's pretty disgusting. Right. I wouldn't be mad if Eric D. Raven threw her mom on his list. Really.
Right.
But he does something different with her.
Oh, he does a little something different with the mom, with the prostitute mom. So we go here to Gideon's pawn and loan.
Yeah.
And a dark figure appears in the doorway. And, Gideon's closed up for the night. He's done ripping off people and cashing in on the stolen goods of the victims of murder and crime and thievery and robbery. He's had enough evil for the day. He's going to take it easy now, put his feet up. He's earned it. After a long day at the office of being a degenerate piece of shit, he's earned some rest. And Eric D. Raven is knocking on the door, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." And no, he's not going anywhere. In fact, he's going to let himself in.
Yeah, because when Tintin's on the way out, he says, "Lock up on your way out of here." And he goes, "I'll lock up before you're real good, massa." I'll stab your fat ass. And he
gives a great fuck you too. Before he goes, "I'll lock up for you real good, massa," and he goes, "Fuck you." And it was like a perfect listen. As a connoisseur of telling people "fuck you," that one's got to also go in the "fuck you" time capsule, man.
For sure.
That's some beautiful shit.
Yeah, I think he gave him a bird too. He's all, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
and he goes,
right.
he's on to stab your fat ass. So
I like this.
Go ahead, man.
Sorry, I like this right here. Kemosabe returns. He must be a writer. I'm unfamiliar though. He says he's used Gideon's pawn shop in nearly every modern story he's ever written in some form or another. I like that. That's a fun thing as an artist, as a creator, illustrator, writer. It's a fun thing to put those little winks in there at your audience. That is fun. Very cool, dude. And speaking of giving the bird, I was a precocious young man, never shy to speak to anyone or speak to adults. And I remember a family friend, my mom's best high school friend, was walking with me from my grandparents' restaurant back to the house, through the alley. And I liked Transformers, and I liked Starscream and the other jets. And I thought holding my hand like this looked like Starscream.
Kind of does.
And I told her I'd straighten that pinky out if I could. Sorry, guys. But that's just how that one is. But I told Debbie, I said, "Hey, Debbie, do you want to see my airplane?" And she's like, "Sure." And I just start going like this. And as a kid, I didn't think anything of it, but she gave me a really weird look. And I was about 6 when that happened. 1 year later, it's Christmas. My parents throw a big Christmas party. Everybody's there. I'm wearing a Cosby sweater. That's the year I got the Millennium Falcon. It is right over my head in the rafters of this garage. I'm 7 years old. Debbie King is there. Poor Debbie. She had the Tinkerbell pixie haircut, but it was like Tina Turner spikes. It was in style in the 80s to spike your hair a little bit. And I didn't like it, but I was only 7. And she came up to me at the Christmas party at my house and said, "Hi, Gabe, you look really sharp." And I looked up at her and I said, "You look ugly."
Oh.
And when I think, poor Debbie, if you ever see this, I'm sorry. I just didn't like the hair, but that's just my opinion. It was fine.
So you hit her with the star screen, and then you tell her she looked fucking
yeah, I'm giving this lady the fucking squadron of birds. Hey, he's a boy. Like a boy. And I don't like the fucking haircut either, bitch.
Come here, you dumb broad. First of all, fuck you, and your hair looks like shit.
I don't care where you grew up, Jericho. In my mind, that was your accent, for your entire childhood. I see 5-year-old Jericho guy. Hey,
hey, what do you want from me? Hey. Yeah, that's pretty good
hashtag
stuff,
poor Debbie. Debbie did nothing wrong. She's a good lady. My mom's best friend from high school. Her family were pillars of the community. They really were. They owned King Lumber in Greeley, Colorado, a huge lumber yard. And I'm sorry, Deb. I was 6 and 7 when those things
So
happened.
you know she got home taking her shoes off. Yes, babe, what's wrong? That little motherfucker told me my hair because then he flipped me off. Dude.
No, Dan Lawless says that story never gets any easier to hear. Dan, it happened to me. You're just hearing it. I live with this. Looking a woman in the face, a woman, and saying, "You're ugly."
You, madam, are a whore.
Oh man,
dude.
And the thing when we were talking about this whole thing, like, right, and it's like these actors' performances. 1010, if you add up his screen time, add up all of the actors who were the villains in the screen time, it's not a lot. John Polito, every single one of them. So they have to come in, hit a home run with their scene, and be out. But I do have to say, in this scene, what I was really proud about Brandon's acting is when he does the flip and he's hanging upside down and he goes, "Mr. Gideon."
And he turns around.
Freaking beautiful.
Because Gideon has a bat and he fucking swings at him and he jumps up and he's hanging from wherever he was hanging from. It's like, "Mr. Gideon, you're not paying attention." And he turns around, he takes the bat, hits him in the face with his own bat, and then he falls, and then he gets up, and that's when he breaks the glass and takes that knife and sticks it through the top of his hand. And I love a good knife through the hand. The also another good sharp object through the hand, Hard Target, where Van Damme or where the guy puts the scissors through his hand. I don't know. The scissors just seem more painful.
Scissors seem worse.
He just drives the scissors through the top of his hand.
The tip of the scissors not particularly sharp compared to a knife. So there would just be some blunt force getting that scissor through your hand.
Yeah. For sure. And then so when he's at the door and you see his silhouette, first he's outside. Then he rips the gate open, that 1010 locked. And that's when he gets worried and he takes out his gun and he's all, "Get lost, crackhead," and that kind of shit. And then he comes in and isn't here where he says, I heard a raven tapping at my chamber door. Like there's some kind of Edgar Allan Poe. I think he says that here.
Yep.
And then he's like, "Get ready for a body bag, shithead." And it doesn't go that well for him. But I do like the scene in here where he tells you, "I'm looking for something in an engagement ring." And that's when he stabs him in the hand. He's like, "It's over there in the box under the counter." And he takes it out and he starts going through the rings like that. And then he grabs it and then he gets a flashback. That's when he's all, this is the one. He opens his eyes. He doesn't even look at it. He's just grabbing it. And then he gets that feeling and he's holding it. And he opens his eyes and sees that it's the ring. And then one of the coolest parts of the whole movie, once he gets the ring, and how come pawn shops always have, there's always in pawn shops and malls, if there's ever seen it, there's always some canisters of kerosene or gasoline. So he's dumping gasoline all over here. And he's, "I'm not going to kill you. I want you to tell them that death is coming. Tell them that Eric Draven sent you and all this shit."
Hey, you tell the shitbirds death is coming, huh?
"Hey, I'm coming to get you walls." And so he takes the shot. He has a pump shotgun, a pistol grip shotgun, 12 gauge, and he dumps the rings in the barrel.
Right.
And he goes outside and he's walking out and he goes, "Is that gasoline I smell?" And the guy runs, he jumps out, and then he turns around. Boom, shoots it, and the whole place just boom, blows up. Huge fireball. He gets blown out the back door into the alley, and his ass and his legs are on fire.
Right.
He's patting him out and shit. So now the whole world knows Eric D. Raven is back.
The Crow is coming. Oh, and one thing, no, maybe we're about to get to it. Sorry. Scotty asked for $1.99. The rings blasted from the shotgun. Yes, friend. Thank you for that. Very generous.
Excellent shot.
Shit was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
And you can see him. You see the rings like coming out of the barrel, man. It's awesome in the end.
Yeah, it's a good shot. Right. So we get to the alley where you have the fight with Tintin, the black guy that was the knife master. And look what he's done on the wall. He has used Tintin's blood to draw the Crow. That is freaking brutal. Oh, hold on. Big super chat in the chat. Thank you from Lummox.
Hey,
$50. Hey, what do you say about that, huh? Thank you so much. Came in 25 minutes late and have been on 1.5 till now. My hair is smoking. First watched your guy last week on Blade. Loved it. Loving this. Sub to Gabe and back Nosfero, then sub to Jericho just now. Great stuff, gents. Hey, Lummox, thank you so much. That is so generous.
Much love, man.
One thing about this show that's so great is you guys, the audience, because you are just as passionate as we are about this. Look at me. Look at what I look like right now.
Hey, look at
I made my wife. Hey, I said, hey, you beautiful broad. That's what I told my wife. Go. I had to clean
Excellent
it up. Right?
save.
I got to respect my lady. Come on. I said, do we have Halloween makeup and do we have a wig? Like, this isn't hard. I know it's not great. I look more like Rob Zombie, but whatever. I tried. That's the thing. So as passionate as we are, and Sean, just a sniper with the funny jokes, Jericho with the voices, but you guys in the chat, the generosity of obviously the super chats, but just your guys, I'm reading the whole time. I'm reading the chat. And you guys are so good. We're all having fun here. You're part of this. You're not just watching, and we love it. So thank you so much to Lumix for what did we say? It was $50 from Lumix. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting Nosferatu. If you like The Crow and you like righteousness against evil and monsters and dark, like gothic themes, Nosferatu is in the description right now. I won't make this too long of a sales pitch, but I want you all to back it. This is criminally underfunded.
But I got to save something I was saving something for this too. I want to say, first of all, Teflon Ron said that I could take inspiration from The Crow. Everything. I'm so inspired by The Crow and the stuff I'm doing, without a doubt. Crow and Blade are my two. Like, this is a great couple of weeks for me. But we just hit 500 backers on Nosferatu the Crypt Walker.
Nice.
And we crossed 30K. So we're there, guys.
Yeah, we're at 31,385 for Shantanjeti to make look fully painted. This is not digital painting, by the way. This is not Photoshop, Clip Studio, Procreate. This is hand done gouache and acrylics. And you've got vampires, you've got evil portals to other dimensions with evil things coming through. You've got the great hero Nosferatu, the werewolf, beautiful women. And if you love The Crow and all this kind of gothic horror and all this kind of stuff, you will freaking love this. So back in the day, you'll have a blast reading this. Shant is a master of his craft. He really is.
Although I got to tell you now, Jericho has got me feeling bad that I'm not joking, that I don't have any more ravens painted in this book. Because you're right, man. They have, don't they have just the best Edgar Allan Poe when you see them shot with this high resolution? But yeah, guys, this stuff we're talking about, we love this stuff. Yeah. We eat this stuff for breakfast. I told my wife one of my favorite experiences on YouTube, actually two of my favorite, have been talking about Blade, but I have to say, talking about The Crow, which is probably the movie I'm most inspired by. Over my shoulder, you can see my custom Snipes Blade figure and my Brandon Lee Crow.
Let's see that, Brandon Lee. I muted you, but I was trying to click on you. He looks just like me.
Dead on.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
a lot of people don't know that.
It's like indoor plants. You can't give them sunlight all the time. Sometimes you got to tuck it away. So it's under here. I don't just bust that out willy-nilly.
Hey, hold on. People in the chat are saying they can't hear you. Let's I'll mute you and unmute you. Okay, hey guys in the chat, can you hear anyone? I think they didn't hear any of that. And you weren't muted. Can't see Sean. What in the F?
I can see both of you guys and hear you both.
I'll remove you both and bring you back. Okay, I'll remove you and bring you back. Remove, add to stream. Is he back?
Can you hear me now?
Sean, leave the show and come back. Leave and come right back in. I'll put you back in. Huh. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm sorry about that. We didn't know. On our screen, everything's normal. We can hear everything. But we definitely want you to check out this. Oh, that's sad. He gave such a moving speech about this book. And it's pulp and horror. And we had a weird technical difficulty. Guys, let us know if Shant is back now. Is Shant back?
Can you guys hear me?
Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear him. Come on, guys. Oh, they missed it. Oh, no. What the hell happened?
Okay, you guys can hear me. So just to say what I was saying.
Okay, Shant is here. Shant, go over it again and we'll get back to it.
That's the reason why I do it. All right, we're good. So that's
and clear.
The crow, guys.
That's funny. Shant, guys, he gave this beautiful soliloquy about his passion about art and what this means to him and how we love this stuff and we love you guys. Try it again, Shant.
Dude, he had the cure for cancer in there. Everything, right. Man. You guys.
Yeah, it was intense, guys. Yeah,
he confessed his love to Jericho. It got weird. Right. It got weird.
Right. It got real.
I mean, we all kind of knew. It's kind of
it was there.
But to hear it,
there. But no, man,
to hear it,
this
was different.
This is for me one of the great joys of doing.
Even held a skull.
Even held a skull. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I! Is it not monstrous that this player here in fiction should force his soul so to his own conceit? For what? For Hecuba! And what is Hecuba to him and he to her that he should weep for her? So, so essentially
all right, the Reader's Digest version, but with just as much passion. Take it from the top.
Exactly. Hey, buy no spare. I mean,
hey, you're not supposed to, are you? You're not a fucking idiot, are you?
Of all time are Blade and the Crow, and I love this gothic sensibility, and I love doing this hand-painted stuff. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for backing the book, pushing it to 500 backers. And what we're doing here is we're trying to make that stuff that just, is all the things that we love and we're passionate about. And so for me, a lot of this stuff and everything I'm doing right now, it's all kind of funneling into Nosferatu. The books we love, the performances we love. And again, Blade and the Crow are my two favorites, man. Those are the ones. Oh, thank you, Steve Hull.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
I don't mean to brag and I don't mean to look down my nose at those. I'm gonna start talking like this and upspeak. So you know how serious I am.
I love the show, man.
What are your pronouns?
Oh, my pronouns? My pronouns are sire and king. So I don't mean to be on my high horse or up in my ivory tower, whatever you want to call it, but I am a backer of both Nosferatu and Truth, Justice, American Way. I don't want to rub that in anybody's face who hasn't.
I'm not trying to get personal enough.
But, until you back them both, I am better than you. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, see, Amen. Until you, and you might want to check this out. By the way, it's not gothic, but it is amazing superheroes. The link for this is in the description. I appreciate every single one of you that backs this. We are flying on this now, Dave, Gary, and I, making gorgeous art. This is what they took away from you at Marvel and DC. This is what they took away from you. But we do get the last laugh because when they made that Superman book that said America, it's not Truth, Justice, and the American Way, they got canceled. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. The very book that made me walk away from DC Comics, it got canceled on Saturday. Thank you. I win. We win. That's right. Yeah. I waited Jews out. So
you waited Jews out or you waited Jews out? Because that
I said use.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, that took a turn.
I am not going Kanye. It was that New Jersey YOUS.
Hey,
that's right.
Just want to get a little clarification.
But I love it because I posted this making fun of them getting canceled and the money we made. And then I love this over here. Hold on. The analytics, 94,000 people saw this tweet. So that means every last bastard SJW in the mainstream comic book industry saw this and had to choke on it. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy too because when people talk about this stuff, talk about comics history, and I always love when they lob that kind of stuff at people like Ethan or whatever. It's such bullshit because what people have to understand is whether it's Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster, these were first generation born or whatever Jewish American immigrants who came in and created this culture. And that's the stuff
I'm sorry, Jericho. Can we get a reading on this?
Hey, no problem. Hey, it'd be terrible if your legs broke because you forgot to buy Nosferatu. I'm just saying over here. Telling you better buy that shit. Hate for you to have an accident.
Oh my god.
Hey, your mom still go grocery shopping every Sunday, 9:30 in the morning? Just checking.
Used mugs have been hitting the sauce too hard.
That's killing me.
But yes, Tintin and knives and shit. Tintin.
I love. Someone wrote in the chat earlier. Whoever you are, I didn't give you credit, but it said someone stabbed Tintin in every organ in alphabetical order with his own knives. I butchered the line. That's not the line, but that was basically.
I think it was Mighty Geek Studios, the one who just commented. I think he's the one who said it.
Put a knife in all his major organs in alphabetical
order.
Now is that Jack Nicholson or Christian Slater? Because they're
either.
Something. Hey, it was both. It was both of them. Scotty S for $4.99. Thank you so much, Scotty S. Tying in a previous character / movie review, Gothic Noir, you guys should touch on James O'Barr's take on Batman. 80s goth punk, dueling 45 ACP pistols. I don't know about this.
What?
Dang.
I'm going to take a
Batman
screenshot. Whenever I see something like
had
this that's interesting, I just take a screenshot. I'll investigate tomorrow. Interesting.
I saw a cartoon. It was Batman, and he was a samurai. Somehow he got put. They went back in time to the feudal Japan, and he was a samurai. That was pretty cool. I like to see that. I like to see different takes on things that we know. And one last thing about Nosferatu and Truth, Justice, American Way. Look at the wide variety of different kinds of art. You have the type of artwork that you did in Truth, Justice, American Way, and then what Sean did in Nosferatu. I mean, both awesome in their own right, but there's so many different ways to draw, and to do different things, and it's just amazing. I'm still blown away at the artwork that you guys are able to do. It's such a talent.
I think as long as you have the discipline, thank you very much, dude. I think as long as you have the discipline and the passion to respect the craft of illustration and storytelling, you'll build the skills, and they come out of us in different ways because of our personalities and life experiences and influences of our favorite artists. So yeah, thank you very much. And there's a lot of variety in what we're doing here in independent comics, but what it's all about is liberty, freedom to speak your mind and say what you think, whether it's brilliant or stupid, and then quality. That we love this stuff, and that's why we want to preserve it. So thank you. Like we love these movies. So moving on, that we really got derailed there by a super generous super chat, and then technology turned on us, like in the Terminator. Did I already read? Oh, I did just read this one. I did just read this one. Okay,
Terminator.
Right. So we got into the alley where Tintin has been killed, and his blood has been used to draw a crow on this steel wall of this building here. Very terrible. And back in the pawn shop, he's looking he goes into like the locked up spot beneath the counter, and he's looking through all the ill-gotten jewelry that this horrible Gideon has, and he finds his wife's really cheap engagement ring. They weren't
no stones.
They were in a bad neighborhood, but it's like that story in the Bible where the Pharisees, who were the rich, the big talker show-offs, would go to the synagogue and they give so much money and gold to the church. And then the widow comes and gives 2 mites, basically 2 pennies. And the Pharisees mock her. Oh, she didn't give anything. But the lesson of the story is, no, she gave more than all of you because she gave out of her lack and you gave out of your abundance. You're already rich. So when you see like a humble little ring like this, a little, silver plated ring or whatever garbage ring, it's not. It's from the heart. It's everything he could afford at the time. And they were desperately in love, these two. So it's really heartfelt. I really like that.
Couldn't let him have that too. That's what's so painful, right? They couldn't even let him have that. Like it meant nothing to them.
$39 ring from Walmart. They had to steal that.
Yeah, you stole, you assholes.
Well, and where they stole it from? They took it off her finger. When you think about it, she was wearing it. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, and then again the memory with the red hue to it. Another flashback, and here's Gideon begging for his life, and then just look at his face. He looks psychotic. Like
a little bit.
His right eye looks, I don't know, maybe there's a strand of hair in front of it, but he just looks. It's not even white. It's not black. It's like gray almost. I'm gonna
steal his look. There you go.
You look exactly
the same, dude. Hold on. You guys tell me, is this me or is this Brandon Lee? Because you're not gonna be able to guess. Hold on.
Brandon Lee.
Brandon,
was that right?
That's what you think. That's what I wanted you to think.
I was wrong.
I was waiting for you to
super
dang it,
chat.
it's sticking to my makeup, this stupid hair. I was waiting for you to say Cesar Romero, but oh my gosh, what is going on tonight? Lumic for another $50. Dude, so generous. Crow was a perfect storm for me in the early 90s. I followed Bruce Lee and Tao of who's JKD? Help me, guys.
Jeet Kune Do. It's a style.
Jeet Kune Do. Okay, that was the style that he made up. Okay, when trying to get an army pilot job, got in the best shape of my life. The soundtrack, the imagery, and the philosophy of his father fueled that music. Dude, Lumix, we were talking about the inspiration of these movies and these stories and how it touched Sean's work on Nosfero and all that. And I relate right there with you, brother, on how these stories, the reason they're so important, the reason Lethal Weapon and all this stuff, there's the silliness to it, there's the fun, the heightened action. But what was so great about it is it does inspire you when you're a young man. It tells you these fables, these myths, like C.S. Lewis. I said this last week. I think I heard someone say this. C.S. Lewis said the point of fairy tales is not to teach children dragons are real. Children already know that. It's to teach children that dragons can be slain. That's such a beautiful quote to tell people. I've told you guys before that I've coached football and kids stink at football and they're crying. And I'm able to coach them into great players because they learn that they have something in them they didn't know they have. So to hear you inspired, I love this. To hear you inspired by Bruce Lee and his Tao of Jeet Kune Do and how it helped and improved your life. I love it. And that's what these stories are all about. That's why we don't want to make those postmodern social justice, left-wing pronouns in the bio kind of stories. So thank you. God bless you. So generous, friend. Thank you very much.
Whenever I see that, when I see someone's profile and they have their pronouns, I'm done. That shit makes me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Direct. I didn't even. Okay, can we see Sean? Give me a 1 in the chat because I removed him again, and that's what caused a glitch, I think. So,
yeah, I agree with everything you just said.
This is disturbing. I don't like it. I have to make you small again.
I must shrink you.
I must shrink you. A direct comment to me from Call Me Mark, part of CG. Gabe LT, I bet people assume you're Asian rather than African. I've never got that before. I'm a good driver, man. I've never got that before.
Oh, hey.
Oh, did I say that? Oh.
Dang it.
Sorry, I need a drink. But every time I've had 2 sips out of this, and I can taste the black lipstick.
Oh.
It's delicious, actually. All right. Can you just tell me what the mask is, Sean?
No, I took the mask off. I feel free.
Oh,
what mask?
Goodness. Okay. So he's gone through Gideon's shop. He's stabbed him in the hand, told him to tell all the shitbirds that the crow is coming for him. And then
Gideon handles that very well. He handles having a knife put through his hand very well because he doesn't seem to be bothered with it right there.
Yeah.
Pain tolerance is unreal.
Shanta's never looked so handsome. There you go.
That's right. God knows.
And kablooey, but he doesn't die. Gideon flies out the back door, so he's not dead. But we don't have a shot of that.
Gets his ass set on fire.
Right, and then I don't know what this picture's doing here. What is this? Why is this here,
Mom?
That's from the bar. Is he?
Yeah. Is this out of order? Does this picture not belong in this spot?
I'm not sure because I know later Gideon goes to the bar, but I don't think he was there yet.
Okay, I think this one photo's out of order.
Yeah, because this is Ernie Hudson still at the hot dog stand when he hears the explosion, and then he takes off. He says, "Call it in for me," and then he runs down the street and then finds him because that's Gideon's behind him. Finds him at the scene, and so he comes up, show me your hands, sit down, and all this shit. And he tells him, he's all, "Don't move or I'll shoot you." He's all, "I'm dead," so I move. And then he goes over and he sits on the curb. And then, the classic looks one way, he turns back around. So and then he stops, and then Eric D. Raven is gone. off to
I've
the
ruined
next
it
one.
for you guys, haven't I?
You love that, Eric D. Raven. I do love a little thing you can see here coming out of his left hand is the fretboard and the it's a guitar. He stole an electric guitar
from Gideon.
From Gideon. And remember, he's in a band. So
lead singer, no
that.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know what this means. Jean Grey, America, salt, America, thumbs up
Salty
beer.
Army.
Oh,
Army.
Oh, is that Salty Cracker?
Yeah, I think that's one of his.
Okay,
his
very
themes.
cool. Yeah, I got to get into him. Everyone's telling me he's great. I've never seen his show, but apparently he's fantastic. So
people tell me I should get on his show. Hey,
someone told me that he's like
tell
you,
me.
like a really funny political commentator, and they mentioned you, Jericho, saying you were similar. So I saw that in a chat somewhere, maybe on your show. I don't know.
Put us
Still
together.
money too.
Let's see. So he does the whole Batman thing and disappears on Ernie Hudson. Then we come back to the creepy weirdos that were burning the girl's eye, and they're just, these are bad dudes. Bad dudes.
Freaks. A couple of damn freaks.
And there's Candyman with his tiny little bit of bleached orange blondish hair in the front of his that's weird. That
Great
is a weird
suit though.
Right.
Damn good suit.
Very little pinstripe, very nice.
Yeah.
It looks like they were starting to dye his hair, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And then they stopped,
right,
and didn't dye any more of it.
Right. So they're having a meeting. They're having a meeting here with Top Dollar, and I think they're talking about how Tintin was killed.
Yeah,
you know, and that's why T-Bird is there, and I think some of the other gang is there. And go ahead, Sean. You were saying something.
No. I think that when it comes to we say this all the time. So we've got, and I forget the actor's name. Someone already said it about this great cast, but the gentleman right there who plays T-Bird was in the Warriors. He was much younger in the Warriors, but he's an actor from the Warriors. So he has a long history. And then you've got, of course, the stellar cast that you see pictured here. This is Jericho. It's so funny. I've seen this movie so many times. It was such a big part of my youth that it never dawned on me how great the entire cast was in this movie. Because you kind of take it for granted when you're living in an era where the stars happen to fall on cinema. But everybody had this incredible pedigree and independent scene from Coen Brothers movies, on down the line. You had actors who had this history in cult classic films. And then you had this director who was making, again, famous works like Dark City. And I believe also, he's worked on so many classic films. And so, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think in this scene only T-Bird is in there. I don't think Fun Boy and Skank are in there. I think just T-Bird's up there because he's obviously the most put together out of the group. But this is where they throw the eyeball in there for some reason.
No. Yeah.
And then it starts smoking, and he, wafts the smoke, takes a hit, basically, does a line, and then it goes back down to the street, and she was about to get hit by a car. And he grabs her and saves her. And she's all, stupid rain. And he says, it can't rain all the time. She turns around because that's something Eric D. Raven used to always say. She turns around and he's gone. But that plants the seed in her mind was that him? Because it's obviously somebody, it wasn't a dream. Somebody grabbed her and saved her from getting hit by a car. She heard what she heard. So then that starts the, oh shit, it kind of puts in her mind that he might still, or might have somehow come back or whatever the fuck.
Right. I like this. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. I like this line. Robbie13 says that T-Bird says, remember my crew got himself perished. So,
listen,
a lot of people don't know the backstory for T-Bird is he's an Oxford scholar. So,
listen, guys,
it didn't really come through in this.
No,
one.
God forbid.
That's his trick. That's how he puts you to sleep. You don't see him coming.
He's good. I figured more of an Appalachian State kind of guy, but
okay. God forbid something happens to me. Please show up at my funeral. And when you guys go up to mine, go, I am here because one of my crew got himself perished. Please, I'm begging you guys. I don't ask for a lot.
I'll say that to Mrs. Shant for sure.
Yeah, exactly. My kids are crying, but they'll stop them. They'll be like,
"You did know him. You did know my father." It's the best
line ever. Died in a pile of flour.
Right. So I'm not. We're back. Are we back at the station here? And he's
yes.
Yeah. And then, Yeah, see Hangman's joke, and then later when she plays the record, it says under his Hangman's joke, and it says under that last laugh.
Right.
But yeah, he's at the station, and then of course the former partner, looking out for him. Here's a file. You didn't get this from me. And then that's where he starts really digging into, because he's told at the scene back where Eric, did in 1010 that lieutenant, because he used to be a lieutenant, but he started digging around and snooping around in the case, and they busted him down a patrolman. But at the scene of the crime, that lieutenant, who's played by the guy who has the same dermatologist as Edward James Olmos, he tells him, "You're not a detective anymore. Fuck off." And then so he kind of goes behind his back and works on the case anyway.
Right. So yeah, he's getting we got this. Okay, so I got my photos in two different things here. Okay, so we cut to this, and what scene is this? Why is this shot here? Oh, that's because she was in the house and she was looking at the photos. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So she found the record,
right?
That she was listening to. And then a couple things that I noticed. Go ahead to the next one. I think that was it.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah. So he sends Skank. He tells him to get road beers and smokes and road beers. Be quick. And so while Skank is in there, he walks across the street and gets in his car. And then when he sits in the driver's seat, the crow comes and lands on top of the hood. And then he's like, "What the fuck?" And then boom, Brandon Lee is in the back seat. And that gun, is this in the right order?
I think so, but this is what I have. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is what I have in order.
He gets that gun from Fun Boy, that revolver. But then he tells him, he says, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "I'm your passenger. Drive." And so he takes his gun right there. He pulls his gun. And then Brandon Lee takes that gun out of his hand and throws it in the passenger seat. But then the next scene, when they're in the car, still driving to their destination, he has the gun. He has a Beretta, and T-Bird had a Beretta. So I don't know if they missed this in editing or what, but Brandon Lee has his gun, and he doesn't have that one anymore. So I don't know if he tossed that one and picked up T-Bird's, but he has T-Bird's gun in his hand. I saw it like 2 or 3 times. So I don't know if they missed that or what. And then another thing I saw. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so here's one thing that affected continuity in this flick. He was essentially killing them with the exception of Skank in order of how involved they were. Mm-hmm. So they wanted him to end on the person who shot him. The problem is the actor who plays Fun Boy was the trigger man when Brandon died. And he did not want to come, and he was friends with Brandon, still was friends till he passed away a year or so ago with Brandon's ex-fiance, and knew her child with the guy she ended up marrying and all that stuff. And so he didn't want to come near it, and he didn't even want that in the movie because he was so traumatized by it. So this actor ended up doing that shot in the version you see now in the film.
Oh, okay.
And so I think they had to switch the order a little bit to do that. So they had Fun Boy, because there's a bigger scene with Fun Boy originally.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's why you're right. It is out of order gun wise in terms of how it's at.
Yeah, that's something I never even thought about, how, because they had to finish, they weren't done with the movie when it happened. So that was pretty fucked up. But then he takes old T-Bird, the head shitbird, in a ride with his T-Bird, and Skank, he hears him start the car. He's like, "What the fuck?" And he runs out and he takes off, and then he runs out in the street and gets hit by that little ass Yugo. I don't know what that little car is, but man, remember Yugos?
Yes,
but
I do.
I think there is a Yugo, but he gets hit by it. And then the guy comes like, "Hey, you little shitbird, you hit my car," when he clearly hit him. And then the guy picks him up, is going to beat his ass, and then Skank ends up getting the drop on him, and then he hops in the car to go and follow T-Bird and Eric D. Raven to see where the fuck they're going. And then, classic, cop mishap. One of the cops is drinking coffee, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe they call this shit cream." And then the other cop sees T-Bird right by, and he goes, "What the hell?" Throws his coffee out, doesn't tell him shit, takes off, and when he turns, the cop spills the coffee all over himself.
Let me read this real quick from Aruma Faye for $9.99. Thank you, very generous. The scenes of this movie are so much like comic book panels. The emotional faces Brandon Lee makes read like a comic easily. Yeah, as a comic book illustrator myself, I love this panel right here. Brandon Lee's a very good-looking man, but if you look at the geometry, the planes of his nose, his cheekbones, his eyebrow, it's so good. Then you look at the lighting they put on what's a T-bird here, how half of his face falls in shadow. When I color and draw, I love that kind of lighting where you're doing maybe it's not a 3/4, it's further than 3/4, but cutting off his face and putting it in the dark there. I think this is really, really well laid out, this shot here. And it is reminiscent of a thing about comics. Here's one thing you might not know, Aruma Faye, is that some comic book artists, many of them, and Dan Lawless is in the chat. He's a great comic book artist. He does like TV, like what is it called, Sean? When you're laying out a movie and you're laying out TV storyboards. Storyboards are literally the same art form as comic books. You're telling a story with individual key frames. You're saying the most important part of this movement or sequence is this shot, and then we build around it. So it's the same art form. Movies and comic books are cousins, and I think everyone loves movies. I hate when someone says, well, I'm a movie buff or I'm a foodie. I always find it so ridiculous when someone says they're a foodie. I'm like, oh, you're the one that likes food, not fucking everyone on earth.
Yeah, we just eat it because we have to.
You fucking insane narcissist. Let me guess. You like music. Hold on. You like sex? Huh? Yeah. What? Oh, I'm really on to you here. It's ridiculous. There's no such thing as a foodie, by the way. It's nonsense. But comic book people love movies because it's a sister art. It's visual storytelling. You know
how cool? Wouldn't this make a cool poster?
Hell yeah!
Or like a picture, to have a frame or something. That shit would be awesome.
A cool apron, anything. So
yeah, that'd be really cool. But yeah, it's the beginning of the end for old T-Bird.
Right. Yeah. And I think I missed another chat here. Hold on. I don't want to miss anyone's chat. Scotty S. 199. We missed Funboy's death. Somehow we missed it.
Yeah, because Funboy, because that's how he got the gun.
That's
Funboy.
Yeah, I must not have photos of that. My daughter collects these photos for me, and I'm not throwing her under the bus. But there were big internet problems last night when she was trying to watch this and upload the photos, and she barely uploaded the photos to me this afternoon. So if we miss any, I'm really sorry about that. She does her best work, but there was something wrong with Spectrum Internet.
We can definitely go over the scene, how he got this gun. So the bird is flying through the city because the bird's kind of doing his reconnaissance. The bird is letting him know, oh, this is where they are. This is where you need to go next. So Fun Boy is up in a room. I think it's above the bar. Same building, but it's like an apartment above the bar. And he's there with Darla, which is the girl's mom. And they're all hugged up, got their heroin needles out and shit, and they're shooting up. But what a disgusting drug heroin is.
Right.
But they're shooting up. Pretty sure those needles aren't clean. And they're shooting up. He comes in through the fire escape, through the window. And remember the guitar that you mentioned, Gabe, that he had, that he stole from Gideon, that he acquired. You can't steal from Gideon. He's a piece of shit.
Can you really steal from a thief? You know?
he acquired a guitar from Gideon. And when he comes in the room, he like comes in like playing it, but with no amp or anything. So it's just like almost like fingers on a chalkboard kind of sound. And Fun Boy's like, oh, what the fuck is that, man? And so he sees who he is and he tries to shoot him, and Eric D. Raven puts his hand over the barrel. And then, of course, he pulls the trigger and blows a hole in his hand. And that's one of the low points of the special effects. So you could totally tell that was fake. But he's yelling, he's like, woo, woo, like that. And the hole's closing up in his hand. So it's tripping out Fun Boy. He tries it again, but Eric D. Raven knocks his hand down. So Fun Boy shoots himself in the leg. And point blank with a 357 to the thigh. That's a bad.
We missed all of that? That's not coming up after this?
No, because that's where he got the gun from. That's how he got the gun to put.
How did we miss that?
Head. So go ahead, Sean.
I'm sharing something with you, Gabe. Hang on 1 second. Let me see if this works. I don't know how stable this is going to be, but let's see if this works.
Okay. When you're ready to share it, let me know.
Okay, I'm ready. I think I got it. Hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. Shit.
Oh, shit.
For me, timbers. Here it is. Hang on.
Okay. I actually have all those Fun Boy photos. I found them in her text message to me.
Cool.
Hold on.
I have all. Is that what you were sending me, Shams?
Yeah, I've got. If you click on, I think I'm sharing a window right now. Can you see it?
Hold on. I'm selecting something that's taking me a little too long to select it. Okay, what do you have?
There, click on that. There we go.
Okay.
So I've got to look at some of the image galleries here of a caring relationship, obviously, between good old Fun Boy.
A prostitute and her John, a love story as old as time.
Hey, a couple that shoots up together stays together.
Careful, there's no nudity in this scene, right?
No. There's no nudity. And of course, one of the great
I don't remember
shots,
if she lets the girls out, to get some air,
No tits here.
And then Brandon sitting outside on the fire escape next to the hotel sign.
Yeah.
Total
with
Batman
the crow
mode.
with the crow on his shoulder.
Thank you, Scotty, for letting us know we missed Fun Boy's death, because that was throwing off the gun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is a cool ass scene. This is before he even goes inside,
right?
And takes care of Fun Boy, and
which needed to be done, right?
Yes, and the right way that he did it, the perfect way.
Yeah,
it's because they're high as shit on heroin, so they're tripping out. He don't even know if he's really seeing this shit or not. And then he gets shot in the leg, and then that's when she runs and goes in the bathroom and hides. And after he shoots him in the leg, it cuts to inside the bathroom, and right there. And 357 point blank range, he's lucky to have a thigh, because a 357 is a big dog, grown man round. That's not for the faint of heart. So he's lucky to still have a leg. And he kicks the bathroom door open and drags Fun Boy by his leg across the floor. And then they do like a bird's eye view with the camera of him dragging Fun Boy across the hardwood floor. And then he takes him in the bathroom, throws him in the tub, and turns the water on. And then he turns his attention to Darla, and he picks her up, and she grabs that's where he has the big.
I found him. My daughter did send him. Sorry, Minnie, you're vindicated. They were in a different text. She had to text them to me instead of putting them on Dropbox.
There you go.
But thank you, Sean, for jumping in.
Hey, no worries, man.
Yeah, this is
where they have a little gunplay going on.
Yeah,
and he shoots him.
Smith and Wesson.
And then remember, the hand heals right in front of Brandon Lee. He shoots Brandon Lee in the hand after he comes in.
And he's looking at him through the hole in his hand, which is still a little bit sick and crazy, as well. And then when he has the gun up against his hand, you can see that's a 357, a Smith and Wesson 357. That's zero bullshit in that gun, zero. It would have took his hand completely off, but then
that's your big boy.
Yeah. When you're done messing around, you grab the 357.
Right.
So he does that, and he drags him in the bathroom. And then when he turns his attention to Darla, instead of killing her, which, like I said earlier, I would have been fine with because she earned it, but he tells her that mother is the word for love on the lips and hearts of all children.
And then I don't have a photo, but he holds her arm out, and the heroin comes out of her.
Yeah,
so that's like an unexplained power that he has. Like the drugs come out of her vein, the heroin needle spots. You see this white ooze kind of coming out. It's crazy. That's like some supernatural drug detox. And then she looks younger and fresher right after he does it.
She wakes up. She looks better, and she looks at him like, oh shit, like I get it now. She runs out of there. She runs out of the bar, doesn't say bye to anybody. Right. That's when the bartender's like, bye, Darla. And she runs out just totally scared straight. You talk about scared straight. That was her. And he gave her another shot. And I think had he not known her, like had this happened and he didn't know her daughter, Darla would have died too. I think he would have killed her ass too. You're up here with this piece of shit. I've seen you around. You're supporting this. I think he would have killed her ass too. But since her daughter was, his friend, his surrogate daughter, basically, I think that's what bought Darla some more time on Earth. But yeah, he went ahead and drew the crow and then stuck 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 needles. That's 6.
Hey,
6.
Don't waste it. That's expensive.
Hey, you could have put in my freaking arm over here. But yeah, we're not doctors. If you look closely, Gabe may have a white face, but he does not have a white coat. We are not doctors. Right. But I'm going to go ahead and say 6 full needles of heroin in your heart. That's not good.
I'm almost certain that would kill people. I'm not totally sure, but I'm fairly certain it would kill people.
Pretty sure. And couple that with the loss of blood for sure out of that gaping wound in his thigh. I think
might have hit that femoral artery.
Fun Boy's out of here.
Yeah,
he's gone.
But for I got to take a little segue to read I got to read 2 super chats and then talk a little bit more about how great the chat is and what is going on live on TV. Something just happened that is so great for all of us. Scotty S for $1.99. I never take the Lord's name in vain. I'm not even kidding. Damn foreign cars. That's the Gabe edit. Skank. And then,
wait, can I do I'll do the last bit. No blaspheming real clear. Damn foreign cars. So that's your skank.
Yeah. And then for $10 for Lumix, you're a mensch. You are very generous, friend. Michael Massey was devastated by his role in Brandon's death, though no fault of his own. I read the details on how that went. That was, and I'm not making light, that was like a series of unfortunate events. It was nobody in particular's fault. It was very sad how Brandon Lee got shot by accident in that in the rape murder scene up in the loft. That's when he gets shot. That was with 3 days left in filming. He got shot. Very, very sad. I'll segue from that horrible idea that we're talking about. Let's see. Wisconsin Comics wrote me something, and I talked to him a little bit in the chat. That's why I was looking down, guys. He said, where is it? There's a ton of messages from here and here. He said that Tyrus on Greg Gutfield just mentioned this and mentioned me by name. And they were making fun of Warner Brothers, how Cartoon Network guys got nuked from orbit. They laid off 80 people. I feel sorry for the people. I worked in Hollywood forever. I worked in the studio at DC Comics for years. Most people in Hollywood are not woke monsters. They're not pronoun dickheads. They're not. But they're bullied by those people. You know, 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of every 20 is a weirdo, blue hair, purple, you know, whatever pronoun person. But they bully the shit out of all these people that I love and respect, that I work with, that are fathers and mothers, and they just want to pay their damn mortgage and make art, and they get bullied. And I feel sad to watch them lose their jobs, but this stuff has to be stopped. And it's stopped by doing what we do, Shant and I and Jericho, walking away from woke corporations, taking a risk, trusting God, and doing real art that lifts people up. And you guys are the other half of that fight when you do stuff like this. When you send in super chats, when you buy our books, when you do all that, you're financing this so we can fight back. And this is a huge victory for us, guys. Because you remember last year, I was global news. Literally international news. It was the weirdest experience of my life. My name was on the Spanish news, the Dutch news. All people were sending me stuff from around the globe. People found my phone number and called me to congratulate me because I said no more. I won't do this. You want to say the American way sucks? You suck, DC Comics. I won't be part of it. So I waited them out. This book should have got canceled a long time ago. It has terrible sales, but because personal pride against me personally, which is a middle finger to you guys, and not the fun jet middle finger that I showed Debbie King. Not that middle finger, the actual middle finger. It was a middle finger to me and you guys that they wouldn't cancel this book that wasn't selling. It wasn't selling at all. 34,000 copies a month. They're losing money. They are losing money when they do that, and they refuse to cancel it. And they had to admit it on Saturday, and that's a great victory in the culture war. And you're like, well, why does it matter? Is this Gabe's ego? Not at all. Not at all. I have a daughter. I have a son. I have a wife. I'm going to have a granddaughter, guys, soon.
Congrats.
And I care.
Congratulations, brother.
I care about this world. I know I'm giving this speech in this makeup. I get it. I care about this world, and I want the beauty and abundance that I had, that I got to take advantage of. I want it to last forever, and I want it to get better. And the big way we build culture is through stories, because they inspire. So this is a great victory for us. And apparently I got name dropped on Gutfield. That's great. So I'm going to go talk to these people and try and get on there. I'm going to be on the Babylon Bee in 3 weeks on their podcast, guys, for an hour. We are winning. Support me.
Babylon Bee.
I'm going to be on. They contacted me on Twitter because of this, because I put that thing on. I put this thing up on Twitter. Remember the thing I showed earlier? They got like 90,000 views, this tweet here. And I guess the people at the Bee saw it. Private messaged me, gave me a time and an address and everything. So I will be on their podcast for an hour in a few weeks. And I'm doing a radio spot tomorrow, all kinds of stuff. But I'm doing it for you guys, for the movement, for the cause, for this country, for this culture that's so good, that gives us stories of bravery and all this stuff. We can be more than we ever thought we could be. I can't believe I'm wearing this makeup talking about this. I can't believe it. But
believe it, man. It's happening.
I did it because I care, because we're here to entertain you. We're here. I don't deserve your money. I have to earn it. I have to entertain you, and I love to entertain you. So, guys, if you check out Gutfield, I guess this guy, I got name dropped. That's awesome. That's really awesome. You know, very cool. Thank you all. I wouldn't be name dropped on there and be able to get this message out more if it wasn't for you guys. If it wasn't for you, Jericho and Shant and everyone in the chat. That is awesome. I'm very excited about it.
And,
so thank you, Wisconsin. What was your screen name? Wisconsin. Oh, I lost you on here. There's so many chats coming. Wisconsin. That's all I remember. Tweet again. Hit me on Twitter. You said you had a video of it, or you're going to get it. Thank you, buddy. Oh, another super chat. Go ahead.
Hey,
One of you was saying something. Go ahead.
It's not just that you were name dropped on the Greg Gutfeld show. It's that you were name dropped on the #1 show on TV in that time slot.
And
Greg
that's
Gutfeld,
that's how we
time.
do it. That's a
number
we.
one. Yeah.
That's we, guys. That ain't me. It's we. We are making this happen. All you in the chat are making that happen. We are sending a message to these evil social. Look, I told you, Cartoon Network just laid off 82 people. Those were not all social justice warrior leftist weirdos. I worked there, not at Cartoon Network. I worked at DC Comics. Mostly normal people that I really liked, that were not weirdo pronoun weirdos. And they lose their jobs because these bastards won't stop making this entertainment that nobody wants. You ever go to a party and that one person is like, let's order a weirdo vegetarian anchovy, blah, blah, blah. And everyone else is like, I want the supreme, I want the pepperoni, I want the mushroom. Inevitably, at the end of the party, all the good pizza's gone. That shit pizza with the tofu that nobody wanted is still there. And the motherfucker that ordered the tofu pizza is sitting there with 2 pepperoni slices and they never had their damn tofu. That's what they do to entertainment. They destroy what everybody likes, get out their dumb little pet project and ruin it for everyone. Real people, good people lost their jobs at Cartoon Network today. And the rumor is, it's a rumor, I don't know, DC Comics is about to get whacked this week. HBO Max is about to get whacked. Most of the people that work there are not assholes. They're not SJWs, and they're getting crushed. And they need me to stand up, and you and always follow the law. Always follow the law, but stand up to these bastards. Always. So there you go. Let's see. Huey Long, WTF just came here, Gabe, and he died. What makeup have you on? Listen, this took me 8 minutes, so don't criticize it. I put some effort in. Okay? I'm supposed to be the Crow, but it ended up more Rob Zombie. So absolutely. And are we not entertained? Thank you, Gladiators. Jared Weaver for $2.
Yeah, and this is the other thing. Go ahead,
Sean.
Oh no, go ahead, man.
I was going to say real quick, I love those movies that take place in like Egypt and shit, but they all have British accents.
That's right, man. And every stream that I see Jericho in, which supposedly takes place in California, it sounds like he's from New Jersey. This is all I'm saying. But it sounds like he has a Steven Seagal ponytail and he's in Jersey. But this is the thing about it, man, is that, and I said this to I've said this to Jericho more than a few times, but I think it bears repeating. And the same thing goes with Gabe. Gabe has had my back, and with all of this stuff, and we both are kindred spirits. We love action movies. These things, as you know, happen fairly organically. But I have to tell you, as I see more and more pages from Truth, Justice, and American Way, it's a pretty big mantle to pick up. As we said, Jewish Americans who came, here and in this country made this incredible legacy they left behind with Superman, right? Mm-hmm. And I started seeing those pages that you guys are doing as you finish colors on them, and they look like just this incredible classic borderline, feature animated quality to them. They're beautiful. It is some of the best comic work that I have seen, period, full stop. And then when people think about what do you do when you go to your drawing board, it is a more or less, outside of these amazing streams, it's a lonely job. You sit here, you come to this, you're like a bricklayer working by yourself. You're filling in these panels, and you got to love it in order to do it. What do you do to get inspired? You put on Jericho green. That's what you do. You think I can, it's like the coach is sitting there getting you all psyched up in the locker room, and then you got to go out there and you got to make it happen. I always think of Jericho's channel and his streams as being like your corner man. You come into the corner and you're like, I don't even know what page I'm on anymore. And Jericho's like, you're on page 7. Listen, Rock. It's like, let me cut your eyes open here. Like, that's what it is, man. Absolutely. And I thank you for it, man. I thank you for it. No, Jericho, you notice I'll send a super chat to your show, and it's because I'm on my lunch break. Every day my day starts at 8 or 9, whatever. I'll get up, have my coffee and all that, and then I'll come in here and I'll start drawing or I'll start coloring, whatever. And then every day, around noon, I'll take a long walk, and then I lift weights right after, and right after that I eat. And that's right when you do your show.
So that's why I chat you during my show. And it is inspiring. It's fun and entertaining. And it does encourage me to keep doing this fight. Because, guys, this fight is hard. It's a struggle. You think I want to get into Twitter wars and do all this stuff and make fun of Mark Brooks incessantly? I mean, I'm good at it, and it's hilarious when I mock him, but it takes work. I would rather just draw and hang out with my wife and kids. But yeah, Truth, Justice, American Way. It's in the description, guys. Get it tonight, and it is the logical conclusion of this. The thing that pissed me off was the first script I got from this jackass writer, Tom Taylor. The name of the story was Truth, Justice, and a Better World. And I was like, oh, no, you didn't. You son of a bitch. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you don't mess with that. And Superman's not even my favorite character, but I know what he is and what he means to the culture. How dare you? So you want to say Truth, Justice, American Way doesn't work? Doesn't matter. David Williams and I did it, and we did it a million times better than you could do it. Those are our three heroes. Yeah. Truth, Justice. Those are their names. The woman is Truth. Justice is our Batman cop guy, and American Way right there at the bottom. And we're lapping DC Comics. You want to know? Here's something, Sean. Sorry, I'll answer. Yeah. You want to know? Yeah. You want to know whose effing book isn't canceled with this canceled crap right here? My book ain't canceled. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead.
That's all I wanted. I said, can you please show that spread? That was it. That's all I was saying.
Right,
guys.
So check this out. Listen. Please check it out.
I mean,
I'll show you a few more pages, then we'll get back to the thing. Go ahead, Sean. I keep stepping on you. Sorry.
It's so that's that pirate shot. Can you go to that? Like that takes me back, man. That takes me back to like when things were good. Look at that, man. Jericho. I'm loving that. I mean,
he's so. I won't tell you much, but David Williams, who's in the chat right now, I saw him. The illustrator of this book, the amazing, got a job at DC Comics when he was 17. He's 103 now, so he's a master of the craft. David Williams, when he sends in his pencils, and then Gary Martin is the inker. But I wrote a very loose script. We did it at the Marvel side. I wrote a loose plot. This happens, and then David translates that into the pages and panels. I don't tell him what's on every page or panel. And he's writing his own jokes and his own story beats and action beats, and they make me laugh because this is Davy Jones and his big robotic whale called Killer Whale, W-A-I-L, like a scream. And we'll get more into that when you read it. But he's so smug, and he's terrorizing the city, and he's doing all this bad shit. And they shoot him down, and you look at the look on his face, the amount of acting David Williams can put. He was smug right here. And then look at the pathetic tear on his face. You just want to laugh at his eyes, the way he's like, oh, God, no. I love
the biohazard sign on his pirate hat. Yeah, right. Even the in the corner where you see the I don't know, I'm sure you guys know the technical term for that, but to show like something's moving or that's moving fast, like the way he's turning the wheel and the lines.
Oh, sure.
Look like, the wheel is turning. I mean, all of that stuff. And you can look at it and break it down, but when you glance at it, it just makes everything work. And then you start looking at the detail, from a layman's standpoint. But that shit's totally awesome, man. You guys are crazy with that shit.
Yeah. So
when I see you guys at work, I won't blaspheme, but I always think of that scene when I see you guys working from Backdraft, Kurt Russell with the pipe, threw him on the ground, looking down at Baldwin, goes, "That's my brother," blanked out as he's fighting the fire. That's how it is, man. I'm so freaking proud of you guys. When we're throw down, the consistency, Jericho, you have with what you do work wise. I feel like those are the people that I get who understand what we do. Mm-hmm. It's that consistency, and that it's what Denzel said in that speech I play at the start of all my streams. Without commitment, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish. Right. It's one of those things, man.
Oh, dang it!
True that.
Hair. This hair I have.
Not to so we can get back to it. I'll make it quick, but it's a cool thing for me to see who are fans of mine. Like I had no idea that people on your guys' level, and David included, were watch my shit. So it almost makes me want to maintain that level of whatever brought you guys to me, what keeps you with me, to maintain that even more, because I can't believe people smarter than me and more talented than me are listen to what I say. So That shit trips me out, man. This is great.
No, let's be real. I'm not kissing your ass. You have a talent for turning a phrase and a quick wit, and you're very entertaining when you speak. And it's undeniable. The numbers show it. That one analogy I love to use is playing baseball. Hit the ball into the parking lot. Then there's no argument. It touched the line. Did he catch it? Blah, blah. It's a home run. It's in the back of that Jeep Wrangler. That's a fucking home run when it's in the back seat of the Wrangler. Okay? Yep. And that's what you do on your show. You're like Barry Bonds, juiced out of his mind on them steroids. Hey. You're just launching meteors. Meteors.
Hey, bring that syringe and put it right in.
How much fun was that when him and Mark McGuire were both the size of the Incredible Hulk with Sammy Sosa, and they're just launching lasers into the bay there in San Francisco.
Awesome.
You were living there, right? Were you there at the time when that was happening, or that was a long time ago? But were you there, Jericho?
No, I never lived in the Bay Area. I wouldn't do that to myself. But I'm an hour and a half down the highway from it, so you feel it, To watch those dudes going back and forth. I don't care about steroids. You put whatever you want in your body. I don't give a shit. But if it makes you, Mark McGuire got bigger in his 40s. Barry Bonds too. When him and Canseco were the Bash Brothers in the 80s.
Right.
He was not big. Canseco was because he was on juice. But McGuire was like a normal sized dude. Then all of a sudden you turn 40 and you're like, which way's the parking lot? So, but to watch those dudes, and it was back and forth. It was two heavyweights. Boom, one gets hit and the other one comes back. McGuire jacks one. Sosa jacks one.
Right.
Bonds jacks one. Dude, that was a great.
That was the summer. The summer of '98 was McGuire Sosa, and then Barry Bonds did it in 2000. He hit 77 or something like that. Dude. So I loved it. They're all on juice. I think the records are legit because the pitchers were on the juice too. Everybody's on the juice, man. It was like the Kool-Aid man would come through the wall of the locker room. And everyone just juicing.
Dude, they look like Fun Boy.
They all just tug their shorts down and get those, and their ass look like pin cushions. But you tell me Roger Maris or Babe Ruth is going to hit a fastball from Randy Johnson.
Ain't no way.
It's not Lincecum, and I know I'm naming old dudes, but one of those dudes puts a 99 mile an hour smoker over home plate, and you tell me big ass Babe Ruth is going to point to the upper stands and put it there? I don't think so.
No, Babe Ruth, if he had to face one of the modern guys, he'd point like he did, and he said, "That's where I'm going to go sit right now. You guys keep playing."
The ball's not going to be there. I am.
Let me read a few super chats because they are pouring into that. Guys, go get Truth, Justice, American Way. We are winning. Guys.
I did.
Guys, we are winning. We are winning. They are canceled. The cancelers that take people's jobs away for thinking wrong. They want to fuck with you at work, tell you what to say, and you have to sit there and watch those stupid sensitivity movies. They got canceled, the cancelers. Right? We're winning. Support us. Buy the book tonight. You will love it. Don't just buy it out of spite. Buy it because you love good entertainment by hardworking people. Please check it out tonight. I got to read these super chats because they're coming in. What a great crowd we got. Eric D waves as T-Bird flies away. That is true. We will see that in a second.
Yep.
God, beautiful shot.
Thank you. And that was, I didn't read your name. I'm sorry. Scotty S, thank you for $2. And then Jared Weaver again. Did Shunt hear EVS praise him as the CG hype man? You got a shout out from Ethan Van Sciver. That's cool.
Last night. Yeah,
very cool.
I appreciate it. That's all I can say.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Sean, take a compliment. Do not smash that whole thing.
I swear to God, I'd rather take that shot to the leg, man.
With a 357.
We're working through the trauma. We're gonna learn to take a compliment. Lumix, you're blowing me away, friend. I don't know what's going on, but thank you for blessing me, friend. I truly, sincerely appreciate it. Lumix says he got chewed out by Ethan Van Sciver, my good friend and yours, for saying he's supporting indie comics, not because I want to read comics, but because you guys are smashing the gates. I have many comics I've backed, Comicsgate and others still in the box, but he convinced me I will read them all. Okay, so good. So he was telling you, don't just buy them for the culture, or buy them for the quality. Yes, Lumix, I'll tell you, you're not going to get better books than mine and Shanth and Ethan. We are pros. Shanth worked at the best art school in the world as a professor of illustration for near 20 years. Books I worked on at DC Comics won the Eisner Award twice, nominated 3 times. That's our Oscars in our business. We are the best of the best, dude. We're straight up killers. We are like Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire on that juice. That's who we are. There is comic book juice. You know, that's what I got in here. You take this, you can draw anything. Just launching dimes into the parking lot. Just launching them. So bottoms up.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing, right? You guys know how much so many of us have been waiting to be a part of something positive, something inspiring, something that, like, you know, we're not sitting in the stands anymore watching, as Doomcock would say, these cultural vandals tear down our culture. You guys are the people who are a part of this, who are saying, we know there's skill out there. We know there's talent out there. Can we see it now? Let's fund it. We don't need all of these mega corporations with whatever their interests are to fund this stuff. You guys can fund it. There's enough of us. And that's what I love.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, goodness.
T-Bird.
All right. We got to get back to this movie, guys.
T-Bird.
Yeah. Okay. So T-Bird is in the shitbird mobile. And Draven's been having a little talk with him. Remember? Where were we? He got the gun from Funboy after he killed him with the heroin needles.
Yep.
And then he's driving him down to the not unlike Barry Bonds launching balls into the bay. Eric Draven is about to launch something into the bay or the harbor here.
Yeah,
and it's a car with T-Bird in it. Oh, what do you know?
Well, when he's duct taping T-Bird in the last one, he's like, "What do you want? What do you want? Who are you?" And then he looks at him and he goes, "I know you, but you're not you. You're supposed to be dead. You're supposed to be dead." And he turns his head so he's looking forward and duct tapes his head, and then he says something.
This is the real world.
The devil stood and saw how evil goodness was. Like that, and that flashes back. That's what he read out of a book to the girl as she was being assaulted in the worst way possible. So he's taping him. He has it all rigged up with the bungee cord to the gas pedal.
And don't forget this. Robbie 13, don't forget that.
Well, I was getting to that. So he goes to the trunk. You see all the dynamite and the, all bundled up together and shit, all the Devil's Night shenanigans they were going to get into that night. And he reaches in there and grabs, I don't know what that was, because he pops it, he pulls the pin, puts it in his lap, and then all these sparks start coming out. So I don't know if it was like a phosphorus thing, because it wasn't a grenade. Grenades don't, have all those,
It was a movie grenade.
Okay, yeah, it had to be.
It was a silencer.
It was a movie grenade. It was it's a fully automatic movie grenade with a scope on it,
and a laser sight and a flashlight,
right?
And a forward grill.
I love those questions where like a conservative, like Instagram or YouTube channel, will go out and ask these college liberals, "Do you think that they should outlaw machine guns, like fully automatic light machine?" It's already illegal, like it's
like 1986.
Right, like you can't buy a squad assault weapon nowadays, and they'll ask them. And then, I saw one. The guy asked the college liberal girl with the blue hair, my son just told me the Padres won. Speaking of baseball, awesome. We love I'm in San Diego. They're in the playoffs with the Dodgers. And he asked the girl on the college campus if they should outlaw fully automatic ammunition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm no gun expert, but I do have guns, and I love to go shooting. A 9mm bullet is the same in a semi-automatic or a fully automatic. If you had a 9mm automatic rifle, they do make those, are very rare. The bullet's the bullet. The bullet doesn't know what kind of gun it's in. What a silly question.
The bullet doesn't determine the speed with which it's dispensed. You
right.
can put it, and you can even go carbine. There's carbine rifles that take 9mm that are semi-automatic, one at a time. It's not the round. But I saw one today where a girl said, "I don't think people should be able." I'm sorry, let me say it like her. "I don't think that people should be able to have fully automated weapons." Fully automated? Take her ovaries now. Are you kidding me? Fully automated? You don't even know what you're saying.
That's what a white supremacist would say, Jericho.
Yeah. And this is so true, man. Sorry, the super chat you just got for $10.
Oh, let's see it. Lumix.
David Patrick.
You're too kind, friend. My goodness. David Patrick Kelly was great in that moment before he got launched out the pier. He was pathetic, but he was still evil, so you didn't feel sorry for him. He was great. You're totally right.
He's
Mama.
also Sully from Commando. Sully, remember I told you I was going to kill you last. I lied.
Right.
Drops him off the cliff. That's Sully.
Oh shit. Jean Grey just reminded us that someone told us the 9mm is a lung destroying round.
Well,
who said that? It was I almost spit. I told you I watched your show while I'm eating my lunch at the kitchen table on my iPad, a little iPad I have for the kitchen. And you once said, he said, that's a direct quote from Joe Biden. I almost spit my food all over when you did that.
That is true. You have to be careful.
Are direct. There's no need to make anything up. That's the beauty of it. There's no work involved.
That's his quote.
And you can take that to the bank. But, yeah, this is Sully, that little bastard. He always plays that weaselly, slimy little henchman that you just want to kill, or you want him to be killed by the main character. And yes, the 9mm, to quote him, the 9mm bullet can blow the lung out of the body.
Right.
So that little, if you know anything about guns, you know how small a 9mm is. It has stopping power, but it's not going to remove any organs from the body.
Hold on, we have a special request from the amazing, my brother, David Brohawk Williams, the artist of Truth, Justice, American Way, co-creator and co-writer, David Williams. Jericho, please, I'll edit this so it's polite. Please do Biden saying, fired up, fired up, fired up. All right, we're putting you on the spot, Jericho. We're making you.
Fire it up, fire it up. What was I supposed to say? There you go. I want to be authentic.
No, this would be fire it down, fire it down.
He's all fire. You know the thing.
You know the things. Truth, justice, and you know the things is what they should change it to.
Right.
Oh, that's the Superman one now. Truth, justice, and you know the things. Thank God.
This guy's never going to blow up if we don't move on.
Let's get rid of this guy.
We're, it's not right. We're torturing this guy. We've been making him sit in this car for 20 minutes, begging for his. Look at his.
Come on,
as an illustrator, I really understand the face as an illustrator, as does Shanthan Brohawk. The eyebrows. That's the good acting. There's anger and pain in those eyebrows because he's pathetic. He wants you to let him go. And if you let him go, he'll kill you. That's what kind of a weasel he is. And I can see it on his face. Great acting here.
And he has the, that's where the flashbacks serve him,
It didn't work out for him. It didn't go his way. Home run Barry Bonds. A lot of people don't know, but they had to edit out. There was a ball coming on stage right that flew into the bay here. The Barry just matched. I think it was home run number 57. We were somewhere in August when this happened. So the ball, they digitally removed the ball.
Could you imagine? But they would kill Barry Bonds if he went back to Babe Ruth's days and you put that 55-mile-an-hour slow ball shit over the plate. They would kill Barry Bonds because he would hit like 150 home runs.
Right, they just throwing Barry Bonds meatballs just coming right at.
Just in another county. Some lady's putting an apple pie on her windowsill in the next town, and he just right in her pie. And when he was really doing home runs, they had like a cove on the out or near the candlestick that was out of the stadium, and people would sit there to catch the balls because he would jack them over the wall so high. Yeah, man, that was good times. And Skank, he thinks T-Bird's dead because he's seeing his car fly off the dock in flames, and you might even want to call that a ball of flame. Mm-hmm. And the chassis is separated from the body, all that shit. T-Bird's gone. And so Skank, after this is his second car accident because the cops hit him. He gets ejected from the vehicle, and then he chases down or runs after old T-Bird, head of the Shitbirds, former head of the one member left Shitbirds. I think they're not the Shitbirds anymore. It's just the Shitbird.
We mentioned it too many times to not show you guys. For those of you that are young or weren't paying attention to baseball, this was insane. It was in San Francisco, and the balls would literally go into the bay, and there'd be all kinds of dudes out there in canoes trying to get a hold of these balls because they're worth money. Yep. I said there were dudes in San Francisco trying to get a hold of balls.
But nobody was surprised by it. That's the thing. They were like, that's where they got to get them.
So let's see.
Tough crowd. King. See ya.
Look, there's the car. It's gonna blow up right there.
Look at this. That's over the wall, out of the stadium. 2 seconds. God, look how huge he is. And look at him when he was with the Padres. He's like half of that. He's like the size of a normal man. And he turns 40, and all of a sudden he's just humongous.
Right.
And we loved it.
Yes, it was fun. It was fun. I am a weightlifter. You guys know this. I love lifting weights. And if steroids were legal and safe, if they were legal and safe, don't play any tricks on the YouTube. They're not legal, so I don't take them. But if they were legal and safe, I would have a bowl of them every morning to start.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
There's
my
an
gosh.
IV.
It would be so good. But they're definitely not safe, and you should definitely never take them.
But if they were, I'd have an IV. Hey, one in my arm and one in my prick.
Oh shit!
Ooh, sorry.
Scotty S again for $2. Thank you, Fred. I had a large flaming crow poster above my bed. That was he called that thing the panty dropper. You know.
Right.
Once they saw that, I don't know if I want to. Okay, let's do it. That's one of those things you wish you kept. That's the shit, man. That was really cool when it was lighting on fire and shit. That did look really cool. When
shots, right? Of the fire traveling. They did those great
shots.
They didn't just go for that. It's beautiful, man.
And the almost like the dominoes, falling over. But when what's his name? Daredevil, when they did it in Daredevil, that looked like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he lit the double D, that was stupid. But this was really cool.
Yeah, it was the first time I saw a double D that I didn't like.
Hey!
I love that we're on the same wavelength. Hey, usually I don't dislike a double D, but not this time. Oh, goodness. Okay. So he leaves his signature again after he got rid of so we got rid of Fun Boy. We got rid of Shitbird T-Bird.
Top
and
Shitbird.
We got rid of
Tintin.
So we still have what's his name? Skank. That's his name. Okay.
And you know what? One thing this reminded me of what was cool, he can do the crow in blood and he can do the crow in flames because he doesn't have to worry about covering his tracks. He doesn't have to worry about getting caught.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
As far as they know, he's already dead. They're not going to believe anybody that tells them any different. So he's just, fuck it. I'm just here to get these 4 names off my list. That's
right.
It. And anybody else is a bonus.
Yeah. Yep. Man, we are having so much fun tonight, guys. Hit the like, share the link out. Make sure you're subscribed on Jericho's channel. Subscribe to that. You think he's funny here? Watch it. You're going to get a ton more Biden on his show. So sub to Jericho. That link is in the description.
So much more Biden.
Yeah,
man. I always think of when I think of Jericho on his own channel. I think of that scene from Hot Fuzz where he goes, "You're off the chain."
We have fun, man. We do have fun.
Yeah, but that's out. That's in the description. Sub to his channel, guys. Yeah. Remember, it's a great night. It's a night to freaking celebrate because not just me. We are winning. The cancelers are getting canceled. We are winning. So
I'm going to talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We are winning, guys. So a lot of fun there. So make sure you sub. Make sure you check out Sean's beautiful painted comic, Nosfero, and check out Truth, Justice, American Way, a book I'm co-writing and coloring. A lot of fun there. So this tall drink of water goes to the cemetery to see just what in the F is going on.
Mm-hmm.
They say Eric Draven is back. I want to know how in this city, like, is Detroit city government this bad that the graveyard, this gravesite is demolished and no one's looking into this, huh?
Don't got time for it. No time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they didn't look like they gave a shit about a lot of infrastructure.
No.
At least on this side of Detroit. So this might not be much of a surprise, I guess. But yeah, you would think somebody might have noticed that. Maybe get some cops out here. Because the people who killed the guy who was inside of this giant hole, they're starting to drop like flies. So maybe put 2 and 2 together there. Obviously, Candyman is. And before I pass it off to you guys, I just want to say I supported both Nosfero and Truth, Justice, American Way.
Thank you, sir.
Just want to say that.
Thank you very much.
I will tell you this. When you think about a supernatural, sorry, I lost my thought for just a second there.
I'm sorry. Sean, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's how you doing? Oh,
white girl said what? No. So here's the thing. The thing is, so this is the thing about it, right? You're watching Eric just destroy these guys. Like he is just demolishing these people. He's a one-man wrecking crew. And I would say that one of the most brilliant things they did in this flick, because everybody by this point, Tony Todd is like, you're a fan of his if you're working in film. Right. Casting him, he is the only kind of person you could imagine. The way he talks, his demeanor, and he looks like he could crawl in there for a nap, get out and kill you. Like he's Dracula, man, in this. And I think he was the best casting for that. I mean, he was awesome.
You're so right. Look at his physicality. He looks very imposing, very tall, very strong. He's got great muscles, but then he's also lanky like a spider. There's a creepiness to some of the ways he can move and stuff. A great choice. You're totally right, Sean.
Candyman. I mean, come on.
Here, he's almost like a tracker of sorts. He grabs the dirt, feels it in his hands. He's really looking at this from all angles. And I also wouldn't have been mad. We bring him up a lot because he's amazing. I wouldn't be mad if Candyman couldn't make it and they got Keith David in there. I wouldn't be mad at that either. Yep. He might not have the physicality, the height, the size, but Keith David could have pulled that shit off.
Gravitas, man. He's got
that voice that Keith David had.
I'm telling you. When he used to voice the Navy recruitment commercials.
Right.
Yeah.
Spawn. Man, he voiced Spawn. He was awesome in that, man.
Guys, a Crow Blade crossover.
God, holy shit.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, if Brandon Lee were still here with us, I'm all about that. But I don't know. And not like it's to disrespect him or anything like that, but who could do that? I'm sure you put Wesley Snipes in there, of course. It's all good. But I don't know, man.
I don't know how I feel about this because I think Blade is such a classic. But there's news out today that the new Blade movie is canceled for now. And I won't say who because I don't want to get someone busted for rumor mongering. But I know a person that knows a person that knows a person. I won't say how I know this, but this is from a direct source. Laid off the crew of Blade, like the people working on the movie. It must be pre-production, all that. Not working on that. That's what I heard. I heard that today. Little Bird told me that. I have a lot of people in the industry. A Little Bird, I'm not making that up. A Little Bird told me that may not be true. But Blade, for now, is no more. Who knows? So I'm like, am I glad? Because I don't want them to replace the classic. I don't know. So.
I mean, if we could get, if Brandon Lee were still here and they said they would get Wesley Snipes to, and get the right people, maybe those who were involved in these two movies, maybe get them together to where they could seamlessly weave those two universes together. I don't know how they would do it, but if they could, hey, let me see the trailer.
Hey, no problems.
Hey, Dutch, let me see your trailer,
huh? That's like an ugly girl's caboose is her trailer.
Yeah.
By the way,
over here.
This newscaster, out of everybody we've seen, is unfortunately classic 80s, though. Like everything we've seen is 90s.
Sure
we got to the newscaster, and it's always a decade behind hair-wise.
Right. She looks like she's out of like Gremlins or RoboCop or something like
those
that.
Those are 80s bangs.
She's telling you about some portal opening over the Empire State Building, and ghosts are coming out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
But Devil's Night, and that's a real thing. I was on somebody's channel last night. Yeah, wait, don't bring those things out yet. Hold on a second. They need their own space. But they were saying they're from Detroit, and they were saying how Devil's Night is a real thing that they used to do there. I was like, what? I thought it was just in a movie, but
I grew up there for a short spell, and it was just a thing. People go, "Oh, kids, you're not going out on Devil's Night. You're not doing this." Like we talked about that all the time when I was a kid.
That's crazy.
So it was just known, man. It's nuts. Yeah.
All right, Gabe, bring on the titties.
All right. Well, would you like to explain this to me? Because I am shocked and terrified.
Gladly.
Could you imagine you're a young man, a single man, because we're all married men. In this scenario, we're all single, college age. You go out for a night of drinking. You come out of a bedroom and you don't know what house this is, and you see this in the kitchen. What do?
Forget about breakfast and send that kid somewhere. That's what I'm doing.
I mean, look at those eggs.
Yeah, farm fresh. Those are organic, farm fresh jumbo eggs. Yeah, she was scared straight. Remember, he sucked or drained the heroin from her arm, and she saw the light. She went running out of the bar. Oh, and that scene where she runs downstairs out of the bar. Candyman is there because Gideon's there doing what Eric D. Raven left him alive to do. He's telling he said that death's coming and all that shit. And he's drinking at the bar and he's talking shit to the bartender because he keeps putting ice in his drink and he didn't want ice. And so he says, Fun Boy's upstairs. And so he's like, oh shit. So he's already on the trail of Eric D. Raven. This is before the cemetery scene where he's standing by the grave. It's because he runs upstairs with this gun. I don't know what kind of gun it is, but it's like an AR-15 fucked up pistol. And he runs up there with his gun, and then he sees Eric D. Raven sitting in the window, and Eric goes, shh, and then falls backwards out the window. He looks out the window. It's like, 5-10 stories down. So he's like, where the hell did this guy go? So he's already on some mystical shit happening before he got to the cemetery. But when Darla ran out, she didn't say goodbye. She didn't grab her coat. She just fucking ran. And she ran home. And so the next morning, when Sarah comes home, she wakes up to the smell of, eggs. And she's like, wait, what? She don't see Darla at all. And she's full blown, 180 June Cleaver, a little less scantily clad. And she's frying eggs for her and bacon and orange juice. And Sarah's like, who the hell are you? Like, you're not my mom. And then so Darla's like, screw it. And then Sarah saves it by saying, because she asked her how she wants her eggs. And she just starts going on about, what the hell are you doing? This isn't you. And she goes, screw it. I'm not good at this being a mom thing. And then Sarah says, no, Mom, I like them over easy. So it's kind of like, no, come back. And then so she's walking back to the table here. I forgive you. Let's build from here. So we can only get dope fiend moms to somehow have the heroin drained from their arm by brought back from the dead, painted up Eric D. Raven, the world would be a better place.
Yeah. Yeah. Some say you can still hear him going around in the night looking for what do you call a heroin addict? Like a smackhead or I don't know what junkie
whore.
You could tell I'm a father because I just made up smackhead when I knew it was wrong. It's like, hey, get off the
call them by their first name, if you know them. No, sorry, what?
I don't want you out there in the streets with those smackheads.
You can call me anything, but don't call me late for heroin.
David Williams has his obligatory country crock comment. Hey, girl, ain't nothing but a muffin. Got a lot of country crock to go.
Yeah, I got a big tub of the crock. Better bring it over here and start spreading this stuff everywhere.
No. Don't talk about bringing things over and spreading them.
No, I'm talking about the country crock. Don't be lewd, Gabe. Don't be lewd. I'm saying spread the country crock on all the crevices.
Okay.
And those eggs. Definitely get some country crock on those eggs. Fellas?
On the nooks and crannies.
Please. My favorite part. It's like
what is the difference between, when it comes to anatomy, what is the difference between a nook and a cranny? Should we go here? We shouldn't go here.
Hey, I like a good nook. Hey, come here, girl. Let me see your nook. But nooks are naughty. Crannies are definitely.
Crannies
I want a cranny.
Crannies like, hey, let's turn the lights slow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a lot of cranny. Shut the door.
No. Hey, so sweetheart, what did you guys talk about last night? The crow.
That's all you need to know.
Oh, I want to see the stream. No, you don't.
Nah, we didn't upload it. We could not.
All right. So we classic that it started back in the 80s, probably the 70s. I don't know. The trope of the chief or the boss always yelling at the detective that he's busted him down and turning your badge. But you'll notice what's on his chest there. Right? Because hadn't they taken his badge before? Or that was his detective badge, right?
Yeah, they busted him down, a patrolman.
Right.
He used to be the peer with this guy, this asshole.
Right. I don't know what this guy's problem is. Why is there always a chief trying to stop the cops from doing their job? Why is that always in these movies? Hey, you're trying to arrest them jailbirds.
Knock it off.
Leave those criminals alone.
Let them be. I don't know. But I think they were one time they were like peers or something. And then he, like I said, he started snooping around the Draven case, and then they busted him down because maybe they got people in the police department. They didn't want him sniffing around, but he busted him down. And every time they run into each other, they got something smart to say. And the part where they show up the 10-10 scene, and where's this guy? Is this all happening on one part of town? Because it's all in this guy's beat. He's able to walk to all these crime scenes.
Right.
But when 10-10 gets all the knives and shit, and they paints the crow in blood, and he shows up, and he's the detective. He shows up. He's like, "What the hell is this?" And Ernie Hudson is smoking. He's all, "I think some people call it blood, but you're the detective." And he walks off. So there's always excuse me, something snarky they have to say to each other. They obviously do not like each other. Right. And this is the part where he actually ends up suspending Ernie Hudson.
I gotta say, I love the look of the button-up shirt with the gun holsters in the armpit. That is a boss move. That thing.
It is.
That is a really nice look. I'm not even joking. It looks super macho. That look. You look like you're gonna handle business if you're wearing that thing.
Yeah, you don't put that thing on unless business is what you're going to handle. Because all the badass cops, except for Riggs, he put in his waistband. But all the badass cops, they always had the shoulder holster. I don't know how practical that is. I don't think maybe a couple times I've seen like a detective or something in real life with that. But damn sure looks cool throwing a blazer. What's going on under there.
Yep.
But big 90s thing, big 80s and 90s thing, the shoulder holster.
Right. So we have a moment here back. Are we back at the loft, right? Where Eric Draven and his honey lived?
He's burning shit.
Right. He's burning stuff. And our little girl, she comes in. She's looking around. And then is this the first time they're meeting in person? Because he saved her from the car that one night. She almost got hit. But they didn't stop and talk there. But finally, he's going to tell her he's back. Guess who's back? Shady's back. He's back in her life.
Because she went there to talk to him. She's like kind of just talking to the air. And she's like, forget it. I didn't, whatever. You don't want to help or some shit like that. She tells him like, just forget it. Right. And then that's when he says, Sarah, I'm here. And like she sees his shadow against the wall. And then it goes to the scene where he's standing in the broken window and then they hug and everything's nice. And then he gets back to kicking people's asses. Yep. And because he still hasn't gotten Skank yet.
No, we need Skank and then we need Commodore still.
But he doesn't even know that he wants the lead guy until the end because all he knows about are
the shitbirds.
The shitbirds, the 4 shitbirds. That's all he knows about because he tells him, all I want is him. All I want is a Skank.
Right. Is this guy supposed to be like Count Dracula or something? The way he's dressed, he's like a feudal lord or something. He's got the big sleeves and the weird gloves and the pants. He's got quite a look. But anyway, Dum Dum comes in here. Skank, right? I can't keep his name straight. He comes in here and he's whacked out, like he's coked up to the gills or something. He's acting real weird. Drunk. Yeah, he's drunk. That's it.
He pounds.
I like my version where he had a fucking mountain of yay and he just inhaled all of it. And he's going crazy in here and telling them that this. What does he say?
The boss goes, maybe we should record him and play it back in slow motion.
So yeah, maybe he is all coked out. He's all geetered up, all Geeter Jennings.
Mm-hmm. And he's scared for his life, and this spooky crow man's coming after him, and blah blah. And then we go right back to MTV 1993-94, and we get another and I think this was a real band. I paused it on Amazon, and it said the name of the band, so this wasn't like a movie band. This was actually a band, alternative rock. And there's a concert going on downstairs while Cocaine Face is pleading with his bosses to do something about.
And then he has all the henchmen.
Raven.
He has all the henchmen who come. That obligatory scene where they hire all the henchmen in town. They all black, white, Asian. They just get the rainbow coalition of thugs, and they're all click and guns and loading magazines, and it does this bird's eye view of the table and shows all the money and the cigars and liquor and all this shit. And then, he's giving him this speech. And so that next one right there where Skank's looking at him all scared. He's all, how does this make you feel? He's all, I feel like a little worm on a big fucking hook. He feels like a little worm on a big fucking hook. He's giving him this whole, speech to get the henchmen all riled up. I figured the money I paid you to be here would be enough motivation, but here you go. And that's when Eric D. Raven shows up, and he tells him, I just want him. And he's all, well, you can't have him. And then, he's all, fucking kill this guy. And they all shoot him, and he falls. And then, of course, one of the guys goes over and looks. He's gone, man. Yeah, right there's where they're just blasting him. I mean, he must have took 100 rounds.
And this has a great action set piece. You get a huge shootout. Eric D. Raven, that's like the corniest thing ever, but it's awesome. He waits these guys. He beats the shit out of them. He shoots them. He's breaking limbs. It's awesome. He's a one-man wrecking crew. And because he's immortal or temporarily invincible from the Crow, who's in town.
And he grabs a sword off the wall, too. Gets down with the sword for a minute.
Right. And he is just ruining this guy. He's a scumbag.
Yeah,
but right. And then we go back into flashback memories, of them assaulting his beautiful bride to be.
Yep.
And he sends him. One thought he was invincible, and one thought he could fly. Right out that window.
And what happened? They were both wrong. But he's one of 3 people that go out the window in this movie. Real heavy use of going out the window in this movie. But poor Skank, he gets launched. He's all, he said something to Skank like, I'm not Skank. Skank's dead. And then he has his flashback and just goes, well, bye, Skank, and throws his ass right out the fucking window. And he lands on top of the cop car, face down. Very unfortunate.
So the shitbirds, their pronouns are was, were at this point. That's
and
hasn't been.
When he goes to town with that sword and then he pauses it 1 second and it just starts going on, he goes, you're all going to die.
Yeah. Like, don't you guys know you're all going to die? No one's leaving this room.
Yeah.
He just starts,
beautiful, man.
Starts fucking them up, man.
The catharsis of revenge in this is fantastic. Scotty asked for another $2. Thank you so much. The music during this action scene is perfection.
I was just going to say that. It's almost like this eerie.
It was it was My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult was the band.
Yep.
And the music, it's perfect, that scene. Yeah, you'll love this movie if you haven't seen it. It's great.
And then about halfway through that shootout scene, because it's actually pretty long, halfway through it, the music cuts out, and then it just has kind of this eerie sound. It reminds me of the music in the first Terminator where they were in that newspaper factory and he was looking for him. It's just this eerie, I wouldn't even say it's a music, I don't even know, a keyboard or whatever it is, but it's this sound.
Ambient.
Yeah, it just had this weird sound once he finished off all the henchmen in that room. And then Skank was the last one. He took the quick way down.
Right. We're in the home stretch here, people.
Then the cops come in.
Right.
The cops bust in the room, and then he jumps out, and then that's when the helicopter is following him from roof to roof, and he's doing parkour basically across these rooftops and shit. And Ernie Hudson sees that he's on the run, and he goes to help him.
If they remake this, it'd be Harry Styles music.
Yeah, it would be all females. It would be all female artists. And
it'd be the Crowess.
Crow would be a woman.
Yeah, and then the Crow would twerk like She-Hulk.
That's when they get in the club. That's how she blends in to hide from him. She just starts twerking her dead ass. And then Ernie Hudson.
Sure, good shit, man.
Where does this stuff come
I've got art on the desk, damn it.
It just comes out, man. I can't,
I can't listen. It's like a Prince guitar solo. You can't be fucking expecting it not to be great.
Right.
But go ahead, man.
Oh, but after the crazy shootout and the murder of many criminals, Eric D. Raven gets away. He's jumping rooftop to rooftop. The police are shooting at him, helicopters, and he just so happens a suspended Ernie Hudson in his civilian clothes is driving by in his big boat of a car. And he says, "Get in!" And he gets him in. So that's great.
Well, he's standing outside with all the police.
Oh, that's right.
Looking up at the building, and then he sees which way he's running, and then he hops in it. Yeah, it's a 1970s something like a Lincoln. And he hops in that thing, and like he keeps looking at the helicopter to follow where they are, and then he jumps off a building, like he falls off the building, and then that's when he opens the door, get in, and then he stops, and again he turns his head, looks back, he's gone once again, and but he's not. He thinks he's done. Eric D. Raven thinks this is it. I got Skank, I got T-Bird, Tintin, Fun Boy, Let me check all my flashbacks. Yep, that's it. And he's about to, call it a day. Go ahead and climb back in the ground and go see Shelly. Says goodbye. The next scene, she's sleeping on the ground in front of her headstone, like at the cemetery, sleeping on the ground in front of the Shelly's headstone. And then he comes back and he wasn't going to say anything. He was just going to, go back to heaven or wherever the fuck he was. And she comes and wants to say goodbye and everything. And then here comes another classic action movie trope. I have nothing else to lose except this girl, this woman, this kid.
Yep.
There's something that the bad guys acquire. And now you got to come get her back. You got to come get him back. And so he's about to go back to the afterlife. But then one more time, he hears her scream. And then he goes, the crow. The crow sees her in the crack of a door. Door's cracked. The crow sees her. And, Eric, help me. And then he's on the case. And then probably the coolest shot of the whole damn movie is when he opens these big cathedral doors into the church and the rain's behind him and he just walks in. I mean, and that was in the commercial. That was in the previews. Right. And on the cover of the video was that scene. It said the crow in red. And then it was that scene where he opens the big, it's got to be 20, 50-foot doors. He opens them and he comes into the church. And then that scene was just fucking crazy. And then
yeah, I don't have that shot, but I'm looking. I have something close. Let's see. Okay, I think I have it. I think I found it. Hold on. No, get fuck out of here. I don't want a commercial.
Yeah, it's a great shot. It really is.
Yeah.
There's so many great shots in this. Hang on, let me see if I can share this.
And the one that I mentioned before, toward the end, he's already, there it is right there.
Right.
The rain behind him, the hair, the wind's blowing, the look on his face, the color contrast. I mean, everything.
Yeah, this doesn't do it justice. It's a real epic scene.
Look at this shot. We won't get copyright struck. I have the volume off, but I just want to show you the shot afterwards.
I think we can do like 15 seconds.
Let's do this. We're going to move it back because Brandon deserves this and you guys deserve this. No audio on, so.
Okay. Yeah, right.
The crow comes in.
And then the overhead with the crow and then his shadow. So good.
Yeah.
Freaking
awesome.
Beautiful, man.
And he's there to get her.
Great shot there. Because he knows that Mr. Creepy Face, they stole that little girl and they got her up here. He's so creepy. This guy's body, his long limbs. It's really good for creepiness. I have long limbs. My wingspan is 7 feet. It's supposed to match your height, and mine doesn't match my height. And I love the gangliness to him. Is really it adds a real creepy factor to this guy. So of course, Brandon Lee coming in the front of the cathedral, going to save our little girl here. Very awesome.
And Bai Ling is the one who tied her up. Bai Ling's in this too. She's there with her weird lover brother, whatever they got going on.
Mm-hmm.
She's there too.
Brian Knapp has a quick impression for you. Do either of you want to try this impression?
Oh, God, Jericho, if you got it, let me know.
Car, bang, I'm fucking dead.
That's the best, man.
Wow, he was like angry he died. He wasn't.
He was.
Yeah, my son loved that moment in the scene when he goes, quick impression for you. He does the hands. That's the part that gets it, man.
Because right before that, Candyman shoots. He puts a laser beam on the crow and shoots it. How that crow didn't die, that was like a full-blown rifle, but I'm glad he did it. And he shot the crow, so this is where he's weak. He doesn't know it yet. And until Homeboy shoots him in the arm, and then he looks, oh, that hole's not closing up. Oh, shit. Right. And he says that. He's like, oh, fuck. And he falls, and that's when he falls on the steps right there. And then, Mr. Gravel Voice starts to whooping his ass.
Right. He's going to destroy him here. And, we don't have a shot of it, but gangly, creepy Candyman did shoot the bird. Got to get the upper hand. And who comes to the rescue? Winston Vedmore.
Ernie damn Hudson.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
you better put some respect on that name.
Do it.
This is the thing about it too, which is when he's trying to essentially, go back from whence he came, the atmosphere is very, very different. And what I loved about the crow, seeing Sarah get taken, it's like the crow knows he's not done. He knows the bigger story, even if Eric doesn't. So it's like the Crow is saying, no, you aren't done yet. I sent you, you're back here to put an end to what led to your death. So that involves the personal level of it, but it's also the specter of crime, as they'd say in the old shadow pulps, right, that are over this town. That I sent you back here for a personal purpose and a bigger purpose too.
Right.
And that's the thing that's incredible about it.
Well, and can we talk about this about the Crow, Shant? I love that you bring that up. The Crow has the power to resurrect him and give him all this invincibility and this spirit of justice. And I haven't read the comic, I will admit that. So maybe this is in the comic. But if this was a Netflix, sorry, there's just one stray acrylic hair in my mouth. Goodness. If this were a Netflix or HBO or Disney Plus series today, it would be, 13 episode seasons, and you'd spend like half the season like the origin of the Crow and his people. And it was and they just over explain it. It's horrific storytelling. I love that this movie, you just go, yeah, there's a Crow, it brings him to life. Why? Who wants to know? And it's just, suspend your disbelief. It isn't real. It's a movie. It's a fairy tale. Suspend your disbelief. Yep. I love that about the older movies. And it shows a maturity and an ability to be vulnerable as an artist to say, I'm going to do this wacky thing with my art to convey this message to you. I'm going to do this crazy thing with art, and I'm not going to be embarrassed or ashamed, because I feel like all this over-explaining they do now, the exposition, they're apologizing. Well, see, the only reason Spider-Man can actually make a web is because there was a DNA, radioactive spider. That's enough. You don't have to prove it to me, but I do feel there's a narcissism, embarrassment, and the lack of being able to be vulnerable, like a real mature adult in modern storytelling, and it sucks. I really don't like it.
If they did that now, he wouldn't even be in a casket. He'd be in one of those trees they put dead people in, like a bulb, and they bury you. And then they would tie the Crow to like some Native American tribe or some shit. It couldn't just be a Crow that connected him to the afterlife. No, it has to come from some like indigenous horse shit.
Right.
They would really mess it up. Don't touch this movie. But I think there is a Crow TV show.
John to Shant, I'm proud of you. I'm sure the crinkle sounds you were making were from food.
That's right. I was holding up this because one of our friends in the chat here was saying, glad for the reference to the Shadow. This is the Shadow comic book I was talking about that my friend was a colorist on, along with Mark Chiarello, and he actually did a gouache painting inside the book.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, he can throw down. He's serious.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's how he fucks around, man. He's amazing, man. This dude's amazing.
Okay, so we're having our final fight here going, not unlike Batman with Nicholson and Keaton, where we're in a church and we're going up the church, like 1989 Batman. How very interesting. Lummox, brother.
You're off the chain.
Hey!
I don't even know what to say. If you back Truth, Justice, American Way, Lummox, email me and I will put something extra special. I'm not trying to get you to buy the book, but if you've already bought it, you're already giving me money. I'm not trying to make another sale. But if you backed me or something, let me know your backer number and you will get a special something in there. If you haven't, private message me on Twitter. Very generous. This is awesome, man. Thank you very much. $20. The soundtrack was great and the score was maybe even better. The direction by someone who was best known as a music video director tied that together. Also, obviously inspired by Tim Burton, just great as its own thing. I was just saying about the Batman. Yeah. I think this was probably inspired a little bit by that. But was it in the comic shop? You have the comic. Does the comic have this same climactic scene in the church at the end?
No. The comic is way more gritty. This was that so much of that stuff is coming out of Batman. So much of that stuff is coming out of them following Batman 1989. Okay. I think the biggest through thread, of course, were the band, was the couple, but they definitely streamlined it. There's a lot more. I mean, the book is a lot more poetic in the way that it's put together. It's not as linear, but iconic.
And there was a Crow TV show. One season. It's called The Crow Stairway to Heaven, and it was one season, and it was played by Mark Dacascos.
Oh, that's the host of the Modern Iron Chef show.
Yeah, and star of Only the Strong. And he was in John Wick 3. I think if somebody had to play, if they were going to get somebody to replace Brandon Lee, it would have Mark Dacascos would be
He's great.
Man, because he has the look, the body type, and he's a very skilled martial artist.
the first week of August, I went to this dinner with Hollywood legends of Kung Fu in Chinatown in Los Angeles, right where the bronze Bruce Lee statue is. I've told you guys about this. And at the table is the guy who was the evil gang leader in Only the Strong. You know, I had dinner with him, a real nice guy. What is his name? His actual name? Prieto. Prieto's his last name. Oh gosh, I forgot his first name. We had a great night. Me and Van Damme Stuntman, who's still going to come on the show after we get through the Halloween season, and a bunch Benny the Jet Urquidez. But yeah, Only the Strong. I had dinner with that guy. It was fantastic, and he did a voice recording of me of when he talks about being a real capoeira maestro. You know, he says that he did it, and I texted it to my buddy, my best friend Yorn. We grew up watching these movies together since we were like 10 years old. So when I met that guy and sent him a video on the phone, it was a really cool moment. So back to our cathedral rescue final fight. So Bai Ling, remember earlier, she took that woman's eye and they burned it and breathed it up and some weird, I don't know, some evil black magic they're up to. She gets the crow. She's trying to kill the crow because it's injured. And I love the poetic justice here. The crow does away with her eyes.
Sure does.
Yeah.
So she loves him so much. Give him up. That pecked the shit out of her.
Now
and she was about to shoot Eric D. Raven.
Right. When you do the New Jersey dub where you add the crow to the sound of this, what's his one-liner, or I forgot it. What is the one-liner we came up with when he eats her eyes? Was it like, I bet you didn't see that coming, bitch? Or what did he say? No, you did it for me. It was really good. What did he say?
I did?
Yeah, no, you did it for me. This is a bit, Jericho.
I don't remember.
That was a bit. I was improvising. That wasn't real.
I was looking at the
guys. My acting was too good. Jericho thought I was telling the true story. I was trying to get you to say, "Hey, I bet you didn't see that coming, bitch." I was trying to get you to say that.
Hey, all eyes on me, yo, boy.
There you go. And scene.
And the eyes have it. You know, Jericho's like going through his mind. Right?
We'll do a few takes.
I keep an eye on you, toots. Yeah,
you got a staring problem, bitch.
hey, now I bet you see what I mean, bitch. Yeah, that crow.
So anyway, this evil witch woman got her eyes eaten and then fell to the bottom of the stairwell. Not unlike the black bad guy with the blades that was fighting Batman. Remember, he was a badass. That guy. He was kicking Batman's ass until the church bell got him.
He was.
Yeah,
the chains, man.
And you dubbed that one too. You dubbed the line for Keaton. It was "Ding dong, who's there?" Right with the bell.
Hey, ding dong, who's there? Your fucking cranium. Because he took his legs and like sandwiched, scissored his head, and then the bell swang back. He bounced his melon off of that bell. The bell had to be like 2,000 pounds.
Right.
Just threw his ass down the shaft. That was great, man.
So we get up on the roof with Count Dracula and the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's outfit is weird. Someone in the chat earlier said he was wearing a onesie, which made me laugh.
Yeah, because you can't see where the pants start and that vest ends.
Right.
It's a very real concern.
Yeah. And remember, Eric Draven is not invincible fully right now. He's somewhat like his powers are weakened because the crow isn't dead.
Crow got fucked up.
I don't know the crow rules. I forgot them. I used to know them backwards and forwards in middle school. But no, dang it, this movie came out when I was in high school. When I was younger, I've forgotten them since. But he's susceptible to a sword through the liver, as most are, So he gets shanked by the gravelly voiced bad guy. He always sounds so angry, this guy. Goodness. Yeah. And then what Draven does to get out of the shop. Huh?
No, he's got my favorite line right here where he goes,
say it, lay it on.
He goes, well, the truth is nothing happens in this town without my go-ahead. And he says that part, he goes, so I'm sorry if I spoiled your wedding plans, friend. But if it's any consolation to you, you have put a smile on my face.
What a bastard. What a bastard.
Wicked.
The thing you don't want is your enemy to be clever and to be funny. You don't want it, but he is.
Yeah.
But Draven, puts the hand on his forehead, and what does he, Sean? What does he tell him? How many like hours or
Jericho's got it.
Pain, or what does he tell him when he does the forehead magic?
Yeah, he tells him, he's like, I have something for you that I've been holding on to that I don't want anymore. And he touches him with his one hand, and he's like 30 hours of pain all at once, and then he takes his other hand and puts it on him, and then that's when it's cutting to her like that in there, and all the pain she's going through, and the chest compressions they're doing, and the brutal beating and assault that she took, all that shit he's just compacting into this one touch, I guess. And you can see while he's doing it, like his blood coming out of his mouth and shit, like it's really, it's going through him. And then he just, boom, lets him go. And he, again, person number 3 to go off of a tall building. Then when he falls right there, he lands on the head of a gargoyle that has the big horns. Then there's one coming out of his mouth. I just noticed that today for the first time when I watched it. There's one coming out of his mouth. So
that's what you call a twofer.
Yeah, definitely. If that one through his chest cavity didn't get him, the one through the back of his head sure would have taken care of it. And that's a wrap. And then it shows it coming out of the gargoyle's mouth like the rainwater.
And you want to talk about, we talk about friendship, we talk about brotherhood, we talk about all these things we celebrate. The reason, what allowed him to kill him with the memory of her physical agony as they were trying to save her life, was the fact that our friend Ernie Hudson stayed with her the whole time. Because he can only have in his head what others have seen. And Ernie Hudson is where, in Ernie Hudson's empathy, that he said, because you got to bear in mind, what that means is after he said to the girl, gave her that hug, and it cuts to the next scene, he went to the hospital to be with Shelley. And that's the thing people don't get, man.
And he tells him that. He tells him, he says, thank you for staying with her because you gave me the ability to do this. You gave me the ability to kill this guy with what, the kindness that you showed her to be by her side, and not just to interview her when she woke up or something like that, but to just be there with her because everybody she had who she loved, they're scraping him off the sidewalk, and that girl couldn't be there. Yeah. So Ernie Hudson was just a really good dude. He was there for Shelley. He was there for the little girl, watching her back, and
he's the heart of this movie. He's the heart.
He's decency. He incarnates.
The only knock against Ernie Hudson in this movie is that he did not show that girl how to eat a fucking hot dog.
She's all
like, turn that thing, show that girl.
Damn, that was some Lord of the Flies shit, man. That was like, this kid hasn't seen civilization, she's got war paint and a spear, and she's like Tarzan on that island.
Oh, dude. So he fries his brain by touching him and giving him all that. Someone had it here in the chat. Where is it? I have something for you. 30 hours of pain all at once. All for you. Right? Yep. So he just fries him with that. Thank you for that. And then
13.
And then Mofo falls. Fall down, go boom. Gets the double. Gets the daily double.
Through the chest and the mouth.
Right.
Not the daily double he wanted. No. Sorry. Not that
one. And then it's emotional. He goes back to Shelley's grave. He's a banker. He killed the shitbirds and their boss. And he's there,
big shitbird.
But he's there, and it's heartfelt. It's very sad, very tragic.
She comes back.
And then she comes walking as a ghost, in a white dress right at him. They embrace, and I think it doesn't say this, but I'm inferring he earns the ability to be in her presence spiritually by avenging her like this, I guess, is what has happened. And then roll credits, and it's a great movie. It holds up. The special effects hold up, the acting, the atmosphere. It's fantastic. James O'Barr should be proud. The directors, actors, rest in peace, Brandon Lee. It was his final movie, but what a hell of a movie.
And the first time he was going to go back to the grave before they took the girl, he told her, he's like, Shelley, I'm coming home, and then I'm coming back to you. And then he finally gets to it at the end. But I remember when he died, the day he died, it was in the evening that we found out. I think he died like March of 94. And it was the evening that we thought. I remember it was dark outside. Don't remember where my brother was. I just remember my mom and dad were in the den where we had the TV and stuff. And my mom came in and was like, yeah, Brandon Lee died. And we were like, what? No way, Brett, because he was, 28? You know, he was really young and he was so successful in The Crow. You know, we were been used to seeing all the trailers for The Crow and like, what? And I remember that night just sitting in there thinking, listening to, you know, the hum of whatever appliance was in there, but we didn't watch TV. We just sat there and just kind of just thought, we're just like, oh man, wow. You know, what a talent, and, you know, and what a horrible thing to happen to his mom and his sister. You know, they lost their dad and their husband, and now their brother and their son. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
So we just kind of just sat around and reflected, you know, and we're just tripping out on it. And it was it sucked, man. It really sucked to lose. He
was one of my heroes, man. He was a hero of mine, and so I remember going into, you know, and this is the thing. I was saying this to somebody. It's, you know, you can't take, even before we had Twitter culture and we had, you know, internet stupidity, you'd still go into school that day and people would be making cracks no matter what, no matter when people, you know, didn't know, didn't care, didn't have whatever. But I remember going in there and I just felt like, because I found out about it in the morning, you know, because at that point, filming in Wilmington was a big deal. The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was filmed there. I think the second one was filmed there in the 90s. And of course, you know, you had this film. And it just seemed, I mean, my first thought went to, you know, obviously to Linda and also to Shannon, but you just think, man, this woman, right? Like, you know, it's, and to tie things sort of together, when Brandon, when I think it was when Bruce got his star on the Hollywood, you know, Walk of Fame, it was right around the time that Brandon had just passed, that there's this big Bruce Lee resurgence. And so Linda gave a speech about it, but also Jean-Claude Van Damme was there at the unveiling of Bruce Lee's star. So, I mean, it's just, when I saw this scene in the movie where she walks up to him, it's one of it just hits you so hard. It's such a beautiful scene of them being reunited and with everything going on around, you know, Brandon at the time, man. It's just a beautiful shot. It really hit me when I saw this.
Yeah.
Great film.
Yeah. It's weird that it's meta. It's a story about losing loved ones, which we all have very close. Some of us, you know, lost immediate family, and if not, you know, extended family, grandparents, uncles, whatever. And if you are religious, and I'm Christian, absolutely. It is a hopeful thing to know that you'll see them again. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a very, very human thing for all of us. You know, so I think it's although it's a violent revenge flick and all that, you know, revenge is not good. Let's be honest. Revenge is bad, but there is a catharsis there, and it does have a happy ending for these two that were wronged so terribly, you know? So
I do wish, you know, they did a great job, but it was, like I said before, it was just really different to see him not doing martial arts. You know? And I mean, he was definitely fighting and beating dudes up, but you know, he wasn't throwing the kicks and all that kind of stuff. So it was different to see him in a role like that, but it still be somewhat of an action movie. But yeah, man, he was the potential that he would have had till now. I mean, he wouldn't be that old. He could still be knocking it out of the park now.
Right. Yeah. He'd only be in his 50s, and, you know, he'd still be fit. You know, he'd still.
Yeah. I mean, and he could play with that range. He could play dramas, rom-coms. Right. You know, imagine if he was still here and it wasn't, you know, Gerard Butler or Matt McConaughey. It was him, you know, doing those rom-coms or whatever dramas. I mean, just to think of a world with us still having him in it would have been pretty awesome. But, you know, we had him while we had him. And this is a great movie, definitely a great last movie. And we got to do Rapid Fire. I think Rapid Fire came out the year before this, 92, 93. So yeah, we got to do that one eventually.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, his oeuvre is only 5 films. We might as well do them all. I mean, shit, we did Seagal's first 5. Hey, nothing wrong with them.
Sure did. We sure did.
Well, I don't know what else to say, guys. I mean, what a great movie. It's been 3.5 hours. So is that a show, or you have more thoughts on this? I think we had a lot of fun tonight. And chat, all of you guys out there, Lummox, especially, the generosity, insane. All of you guys, you make this show work. You make Comicsgate work. Yep. You make everything that Jericho walked away, Shanth walked away, I walked away from these woke weirdos. And again, this ain't my victory only. We're winning. We lost our culture by giving up on the arts and storytelling and how beautiful storytelling is. They're getting canceled, guys. Support us. Stand up to weirdos legally, but stand up to weirdos in your life. Don't let them tell you. Look at me. A year ago, I left my job at DC Comics. I did not have a job lined up. I have a mortgage in Southern California, if you're wondering. San Diego's an expensive city, but my conscience, my God told me, I can't do that. I can't make stuff that says America sucks. I'm not doing that. So I walked on faith, and look at, guys. Look at a year later. It can happen for you. You can be more than you ever thought. Just be brave, be bold, follow the law. But yes, stand up to woke. It's evil. It isn't just irritating, guys. It is actually evil. It is actually destructive. It destroys lives. Stand up to it. Oh, you can do it. I believe in every last one of you. You can do it.
Yeah, you can't do what they do and what they're trying to do and not be evil. You just can't. Yeah. And let me be the first to say, tomorrow on my live stream, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube, I am going to do my homework about this Superman comic, his weird son failing, and I'm going to take a huge shit all over it.
Go to Taco Bell tonight and get the 12-pack.
That's right. I'm going to shit all over them, and I'm going to insult them, and I'm going to celebrate their demise. So if you want to do that.
If you need someone who was close to the situation for any commentary, I know a guy.
I know a guy. But only
I
if
know
he
a guy
has,
who would love to flex on these clowns again.
But only if he has the painted face. That's the only
Show me your war face.
Robbie 13, man. Or Robble 13.
Oh, we got a super chat again. Robbie 13, who's been great in the comments tonight. Thank you, Robbie. Show was fire tonight. Great panel for one of my top 5 favorite movies growing up. Oh, Robbie, thank you so much. Very generous.
Robble. I read it wrong. Robble.
Please make sure you're subscribed. I had a fan tell me yesterday that they got unsubbed. You sneaky YouTube. You sneaky YouTube.
It happens.
Everyone that can hear the sound of my voice right now, make sure you're subbed because YouTube's algorithm doesn't like live streams. It'll get me more subs when I record and upload. But when we have fun with you and interact with you and entertain you live like friends like this, YouTube's algorithm doesn't like it as much, and they will unsub 1 or 2 of you when we do these sometimes. So everyone, please, if it wouldn't be a problem, check if you're subbed right now. Subscribe to Jericho. Check out Sean's comic Nosferatu and Mind Truth Justice American Way. Go ahead, Jericho. You were saying something, buddy.
No, I was just saying that they do that. I have people hit me up and tell me, "Oh, I was subbed to you. I don't know what happened." And that's really shady because when somebody subscribes to a channel, they don't do that by accident. You don't accidentally hit the subscribe button. So you're basically telling them that, no, that's not what you want. You don't know what you want. I know better. I really hate that shit. That's really underhanded and shady.
Yeah. Oh, I'll let you go, Shant. I know you want to say something, but Bearwolf says Young Guns 1 and 2 are 2 of my favorite westerns. Bearwolf, I have very good news for you. A personal good friend of mine, like actual friend, is Superman Dean Cain. His father, Christopher Cain, directed Young Guns. Dean said he would be happy to come back on here and talk about a movie his father did, maybe The Next Karate Kid. Nice. But I want to do Young Guns. I talked to Dean about that the other day. So we're going to get through our horror movies in October. We got Van Damme's stuntman, Todd Senofonte, is a good friend of mine now, too. We're going to bring him on and talk about Universal Soldier 2 or Double. I want to talk about Double Impact because it's crazier. And we'll bring him on to talk about that. And we'll get Dean Cain on here to talk about Young Guns. It'll be a ton of fun. Dean's a great guy. Todd is a great guy. So thank you for reminding me on that. I just asked Dean about that the other day. Goodness, another super chat, guys. Lumix, you're too kind, friend. Extended DVD shows him talking about how tomorrow isn't guaranteed. How many full moons will you see, he says. I've seen that, man. It's sad. There's something so tragic about the young, beautiful human being dying. And I don't mean in the good looks only. He's a good-looking guy. But you know what I mean? There's just this preciousness of young people, you know? And when they die, women, men, young, it's so hard. It's so hard to deal with, you know? I've seen that. My goodness. How many full moons will you see? He says. The movie is absolutely meta and a reminder to live. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I can't even top that. I can't. Live.
Yeah.
Shant, anything?
No, that's it, man. You've got it.
7 p.m. Tuesday nights, I do an art review show that is a riot. Players Club. You check that out here, 7 Pacific. Wednesday, next week, Aliens at 7 p.m. Aliens is an action, a little scary, but mostly action. We like it for the monsters because it's October, guys. We'll see you next week. Talk to you later.